It is 3 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news, the team announced today that Taylor Zarszer will be the new play-by-play announcer for Titans Radio. Hear from the newest member of Titans Radio at 4 o'clock on 3HL. In other Titans news, according to the NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Titans are hosting Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson and Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts on a 30 visit today. The men's basketball national championship is set for this evening. Houston and Florida playing for it all tonight in San Antonio. You can hear that game on the Zone following 3HL. The offseason has begun for the Vols men's basketball team as they had two commitments from the portal over the weekend as former Belmont and Maryland guard Jacoby Gillespie and former Vanderbilt forward Jalen Carey both chose the Vols over the weekend. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. It is National Championship Monday, and champion will be crowned tonight. Will it be Houston? Will it be Florida? Gators favored by 1.5. 7:50 the start time on CBS. I love the late start. We will check in with Slay Dog, who is in San Antonio during the 3 o'clock hour. Dawn Davenport also out today because she has something she'd rather actually be here. Let me just put it that way. She can explain. I think she said on air what she was doing, colonoscopy. So if she didn't say that, then that's on me. Mark Mariani sitting in studio.
That one's on you, bro.
I'm
a religious 3HL listener, and I never heard it. So
I think she said it because she was
okay,
like,
fine.
everybody needs to get this done and all those things.
Oh,
so.
goodness. Well, here I am, and
Plus,
now I know for good reason.
Yes, plus she always says everything that
Yeah,
she
that's
does.
true.
So she doesn't
There's no
hold back.
secrets. This is a family affair around here.
It's funny, I ran into you like a week and a half ago, and I had just found out about both of them being out on this Monday. But I ran into you downtown walking down Division Street.
Lost.
And I completely forgot to mention it to you in that moment. But because I was awestruck by seeing the world famous Mark Mariani walking down the street.
Who knew two good looking dudes would just be lost in the same part of downtown?
You were coming out of Nutri Shop.
Oh yeah, let's big shout out. No free shout-outs, but big shout-out to NutriShop. My boy, old Tennessee Titans guard center, Eugene Amano, has a sick setup down there at NutriShop. Not only is it the supplements, guys, but the reason I go down there, I was just down there today, again, my Monday ritual.
Yeah.
They have these
you were down there today?
Had to stock up for the week. These pre-made meals, like all organic, ready-to-go microwave meals, man, and I just live off of them. And he turned his chicken shops that he was making into this NutriShop pre-made meal thing, and golly, man,
okay,
get down there and check it out.
He had the Hawaiian
Exactly
place
right.
in Cool Spring, so he's done with that and doing that. So him and Zach Pillar, two offensive linemen, like a half a block from each other.
I mean, what Neighbors is doing. So listen, I'm a degenerate Gulch. I've been living in the Gulch for a decade since I was cutting my teeth growing up in Nashville.
You're like if we were talking about basketball and we'd be like, oh, that guy's a stretch four. That's a stretch Gulch where you would.
Yeah, well, not anymore. I moved a few years back, but I was I'm in 12 South, but
okay.
I lived above.
That's what I'm saying.
I lived in the Gulch for 7 years in a condo, and then I lived 3 years right across the interstate. So I would still consider it, I was 2 blocks away. But man, oh man, Zach Pillar, another former Titans legend, opens up Neighbors in the Gulch. And I'll tell you, I don't know if that thing would have been there when I was there, how far I would have made it, because that place is cranking, dude. It's cranking.
It's it's more his wife than him. He'll tell you that in a second.
I know that. I mean, we all do. We all,
Victoria.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
See, she's the boss.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're running an absolute money printer down there, and it is a great place to watch a game. So another Gosh, are we getting paid for that? I mean, no, another great spot. But the Gulch has always needed that casual beer drinking spot. And man, oh man, boy, did it come in clutch.
He is in charge of all of the pictures that are hung in all of the neighbors' locations. So the artwork is incredible. I haven't. It always seems too busy when I walk by there. But so I went when they were almost done with it.
Yeah,
and so that's when I went. But the framed pictures that he has with the movie memorabilia, the sports, the music, all of it is really cool. And the food's really good, too. So, yeah, there you go. If you need an offensive lineman from the Titans past, you can just walk down Division Street and throw a rock.
Basically, anybody that retires O-line just becomes an entrepreneur and crushes it in the Gulch.
Michael Roos?
Oh, yeah.
Down in Durham.
I mean, he bought the entire
block.
6 blocks.
He bought a city block.
I know.
And there was nothing there. That was so smart.
See, now I'm regretting. That's instant FOMO. I should have just been living down in the O-line locker room part of the, back in the day. Those guys were just starting their own small business.
You're doing your thing.
Those guys
become Nashville's real estate mogul.
I mean, golly, I had to chip my teeth and cut my, grind through a few nasty weeds, though. If I would have just talked to those guys, it would have been a smooth transition. But we're cranking now. We're up and rolling.
615-737-1045. You want in, a lot to get into. The basketball national championship game. We've got tons of Titans notes for you. The NFL draft is coming up about 2.5 weeks away from the first round now, finally. And, Mark Mariani is wearing Don Davenport's old headphones.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not current.
No, those are the new ones.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
Well, something ain't right. Well, she stole...
Don't flip that earpiece. I'm telling you, she's going to get after you. Because that's what happened to the old set in there.
All right. Well, I'm going to just be hanging like this, but she stole my "Let's Go" tagline, so I think I'm going to use these for a show. But anyway, I maybe it's the headphones. I don't know if I'm going to be in the same fate as her, taking the Monday off with the old doctor's appointment, but hopefully the headphones don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, Slay actually went to the Alamo the other day.
Ooh, nice.
He said he wasn't going to go because he said he checked it out. There was a mall near the Alamo, but it wasn't very good. So he wasn't going to go, but then they ended up doing an SEC Network Live shot from the Alamo, so he was there. So
I would
shout out Davy Crockett.
Well, yeah, nice. But now that you brought that up, we all know Slay loves his food, and I'm curious when he's out on the road and kind of with an open schedule, like how does he attack? Where is he going to go? Like, I'm not going to the Alamo because the mall doesn't look good. Like, what is his? Does he go to Yelp or is he going to ask the concierge guy? Does he get
I don't know.
advice?
Typically doing this job, when we say what we're going to do and where we're going, people will give all kinds of advice on what to do. So one guy called in and said, hey, man, all you ever hear about San Antonio, have you been there?
Never.
So
the Riverwalk, right?
Riverwalk. That's all you ever hear, and that the Alamo is smaller than you think it is. And so, anyway, I ended up reading up about the Alamo because I haven't read up about that since high school or whatever. And then I watched the 2004 movie with Tommy Lee Jones as he liked to be called David Crockett, come to find out. So I watched the movie.
Full of facts.
But so then it's like, there are a couple hundred guys inside the Alamo trying to protect. And then there's like, a couple thousand Santa Ana troops outside. And so it was a tough fight for them. But
wow, I gotta brush up my history, man. I got nothing for you on the Alamo. Besides, wait, give me the break to think about it because I think I might have
Pee Wee Herman?
I did a book report on one of those guys, but I can't remember his name at the
James
moment.
Bowie with the knife.
No, it was a guy. Oh man, I'll have to think of it.
William Travis.
Is that Clay's uncle?
Yeah, I don't know. National Championship night, Florida and Houston. Todd Furman last Wednesday told y'all, take Houston with plus the 5, plus the 5.5. He said, take some on the money line. I think they're going to win against Duke. And it was crazy, but they got it done. And I feel bad for Babs because both their teams lost on the same day. It's tough to have two teams in the Final Four and have them both lose.
That was brutal. And I'll be honest, you got to give Houston all the credit in the world. There's no taking away. I mean, it's hard to win and it's hard to get to this point in the tournament, whatever. But I mean, I think history is going to show that Duke just fell apart. I mean, absolutely fell apart down the stretch. One field goal in the last 10 minutes. Houston did its job, but man, I think there's a few possessions in there. Duke really, really let it go. And I mean, I also think everyone's going to look at that over the back with Cooper Flagg, but there was a couple more of those. They didn't rebound, and, I mean, they gave it away.
It was 67-61 with 33 seconds left, and they lost 70-67.
With the worst free throw shooter on the court at the line. But he's a savage. Did you see that? I mean, we'll talk about it, but Kellen Sampson told that story today. I mean, the guy is freaking putting the work and paid off in the biggest moment of the year.
So Slay Dog will join us at some point in the 3 o'clock hour. The Tennessee Titans have announced, bad secret in this town, but they have officially announced as their new play-by-play guy, Taylor Zarszer, who's been with the SEC Network and calling PGA golf on SiriusXM for a long time. Actually did Sports Talk Radio in Nashville at one point. We'll have him on at 4 o'clock.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll ask Taylor Zarszer about this job, what it means to him to be the next voice of the Titans and follow Mike Keith's success. Todd Furman will break down the national title game for a few minutes at 5 o'clock. So he had Houston right, and we'll see. He also talked about taking them winning the national title before they played Duke, and they were at plus 450. So your boy jumped on that.
Oh, let's go. Big Cougar fan.
Because of Todd Furman, yeah. So me and Jim Nance are the biggest Houston fans in town. Also, when we come back, Mina Kimes asked Dane Brugler if he would take Cam Ward at number 1 overall or trade down to 3 with the Giants for this compensation. You get the number 3 pick, which means you get Shedeur, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, whoever you want, okay? Or
kind of.
Whoever's left. Whoever's left, there will be 1 pick before you. So you would have the chance to get 2 of the 3 or all 3. And you would get a 2025 second-round pick, meaning you would have 2 this year, 2 second-rounders, and a first-round next year, which it's the Giants, could be a top 10 pick.
Yes.
Could be 2 top 10 picks next year.
Yep.
So we'll play that cut and get what Dane Brugler's take is, and then I'll ask you what you would do. Okay?
I just heard you slip that in. What, you don't think the Titans are going to be good next year? What do you mean we're going to be picking it? Hey, you all heard that. We got the
You know me, man.
Kidding.
You know me.
I'm just kidding. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. I'm on that bandwagon.
I'm a very positive person overall.
Hey,
but
listen,
yes, you caught me there. You did. You're a more positive person than me. So this is going to be interesting these next 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right. When we come back, we'll play that cut. Then I'll ask Moonshine what he would do, trade back to 3 or take Cam Ward at number 1. And we'll go from there. If you want in, 615-737-1045.
Huge announcement from Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you, me, your sister, cousin, uncle, baby's daddy, everybody. Two Rivers Ford employee pricing for all of you. That means that you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add in expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of their vehicles. Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time. And now they are offering you employee pricing. No better time to buy American, and there's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, home of the non-commissioned sales team, and now home of employee pricing for absolutely everybody. From America, for America, Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
I want to tell you about United Structural Systems, man, with all this rain. I know a lot of you guys are dealing with waterproofing problems in your house. Some of the symptoms could be standing water in crawl space, musty odors or floor joists with wood rot, cracks in basement flooring, hardwood floors, cupping. Your house may be trying to tell you something. Putting off a moisture issue in your home is bad for your health and could lead to more expensive repairs down the road. United Structural Systems is here for you, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky. Online at USSTN.com. Their phone number is 615-488-7855. Waterproofing is a process of protecting your basement or crawl space from water damage. Their systems rid a basement or crawl space of water to prevent water damage. Waterproofing can include drainage and sealers, oftentimes both. Interior drains, exterior drains, crawl space waterproofing. These are some of the things that USS Waterproofing Services has for you. So check them out. They have over 30,100% satisfied residential customers, and they will be able to help you as well with all this rain and all this water in the area. USS, United Structural Systems, keeping homes dry and stable. We guarantee our best. Call USS, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky online, USSTN.com. Tell 104.5 The Zone. Mayor and Moonshine today. Slay Dog and Don Davenport will be back tomorrow, so it'll be the three of us tomorrow. But thank you for filling in, man.
Hey, man, I'm ready to kick this week off right, so I'm just chilling on a Monday afternoon, man. But let's crank it up in here.
It's funny, man, when you mention something in like the movie or music world and you miss it, like you get so many messages. It was Billy Bob Thornton, not Tommy Lee Jones.
People just take it personally.
As David Crockett.
It's Billy Bob Thornton, bro.
I don't take it that way, but like, you know how text messages are sometimes, like you can't read tone.
Yeah.
And so it could have been like, hey, dumbass, that was Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Or it could have been like, hey, Brent, man, in the most loving way possible, I wanted to let you know that it was Billy Bob Thornton.
That's right.
You can't tell from a text message.
You can't. And I feel like I'm real guilty of that a lot of times because I use a lot of exclamation points. And it's like, bro, get out of my face, dude. You don't have to be that aggressive. You know, you guys know me around here.
Yeah.
Too many cups of coffee, and then you get too many exclamation points, and then people get the wrong message.
How have you guys been dealing with the storms? The kiddos deal with it okay, or did they feed off your scared energy?
No, I mean the problem.
You didn't have tornadoes in Montana.
Oh gosh, no. This is all new. But I'll tell you the problem, and I told this story. I don't know if I'm proud or ashamed or just whatever. But
those are how most of my stories.
But yeah, it's like, should I be telling that on there? But
I mean, I am who I am. If you don't like me, you don't like me.
Yeah, the first night we live very close to a tornado siren, so it was going off, and there's but that one every 45 minutes. I mean, the second that we got it pulled away.
So when you were new to Nashville, you were like the first couple of like thunderstorm. Tornado warnings, you were like,
oh, dude,
what was going on?
Awful.
Here?
But then, of course, I was there in 2020. So the day after, and I'm like, I will never not take one of those serious again. But which goes along with my story, actually. So every 45 minutes, we're in there, and the kids it was a rough night. Everybody, my little man did not make it to school on time. I'll take that tardy on the chin. It was like, we got him at about 10:30.
I'm sure he was not the only one.
We were like, anyway. But then the second day maybe it was Saturday. Maybe it was Sunday, I think. Yesterday. No, whatever it was. The second round, it was mid-afternoon. And I was like kind of fed up with it. And I was like, you know what? I've had enough. I was like, all right, we're gonna get some meat and cheese going. We're gonna have a drink. We're gonna get in our little tornado shelter, and we're gonna ride this out in a way that's like proper. Because I started not taking it so serious, and it's that time that you relax a little that you're going to get smacked. So anyway, the second afternoon I was over it, had to pop a beer, start a little mid-afternoon drink, and have a little charcuterie board in the tornado room while the siren was going off. I don't know, man.
You're having a tornado party.
The siren was going off, and I walked outside, and it just, I don't know. I should be better, but don't be like me out there. Take it serious. Get in your spot.
I will say this, man. The meteorologists around town on television and National Severe Weather do an incredible job of giving you exactly where everything is and the timing and all those things. So, like, if you are the protector of your home or whatever, like, you don't have to rile people up at 3 o'clock until it's, 10, 15 minutes away or whatever it is. But certainly I'm not saying don't be safe, yes, but certainly pay attention.
Yeah, shout out to Nash Severe.
Unless you want to have
RX.
a charcuterie board and beer, then you go to Mary Annie's house.
It was mid-afternoon. They were already on the table. I was like, we are not going to.
This sounds like a baby shower.
It was not the perfect place for a meat and cheese board, but it worked out, all right? I don't know what to say. And then it went off, and I'm like, well, I'm full, and I have a buzz, and life's good. Perfect.
I mean, that's a good way to live. 615-737-1045 you want in. 3HL, powered by Ferguson Home. Discover the Mount Juliet showroom at 401 South Mount Juliet Road. Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. FergusonHome.com. Mina Kimes and Dane Brugler doing a little podcasting thing, and we pulled a little audio from that. Mina asks Dane Brugler if he would take Cam Ward #1 or trade back to 3. This is how she outlined it to him and his answer, and then I'll ask y'all, and I'll ask Moonshine, and we'll go from there at 615-737-1045. Here's Mina Kimes.
We're starting right off with a trade option here.
Okay.
You are the Tennessee Titans. Your two choices, Cam Ward, the quarterback out of Miami, or trading with the New York Giants. Very important. You're only falling to pick 3, and you are also picking up in the process a 2026 first and a 2025 second. So you could still get likely, definitely one of Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and you're getting a second rounder, and you're getting a future first, or do you stay put and take Cam Ward?
And that is tough because I think the Giants being a team that could very easily be picking in the top 10 next year. That is tough. But I think if I am the Titans, I have a chance to get a quarterback who I think is on a trajectory to be a top 12 quarterback in the league. I think he has that ability. I think he has that talent. He needs to button up some of the drifting in his footwork. He needs to cut down on some of the reckless habits, some of the hero ball, but he's a very loose, instinctive passer. He can be accurate, throws with natural rhythm. I think with the talent and the intangibles and the way that this Titans roster is built and the fact that we just haven't had a quarterback in so long, I'm going to stick and pick. I'm going to take Cam Ward. I'm going to pass on the trade. Giants are desperate, but I think we're desperate in Tennessee to get the quarterback right. And I think that could be Cam Ward.
What do you think, Moon? 615-737-1045. So you swap down to 3. So you still get, at worst, 2 of these 3 players, Shedeur, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, if that's what you want. You also get 2 second-round picks then,
Well, just you add
this year.
one.
You add one,
Yeah.
so you end up with 2. You get a first round next year that could, honestly, turn into 2 top 10 picks.
For sure would.
Or you take the quarterback in Cam Ward, and we've seen what a good quarterback can do in terms of flipping a roster. We've seen it with flipping. Just how good a team is with Houston, with C.J. Stroud, with the Commanders, with Jalen, and you've seen other situations where top 10 quarterbacks have bombed. So
yeah. Well, here's my thought: the Tennessee Titans, our boys, two-tone blue. You guys know I carry the sword in battle nonstop for these boys. But I'll tell you what, we have put ourselves in a position that we don't have the cards to not look at every single offer that's put up across our plate. We are not in the position to be saying, hey, this is our guy. We're not listening to anything. We're not in the Caleb Williams like the Chicago Bears were. They had already drafted him by this point because they had another first-round pick coming. So we have put ourselves in a position to have to look. That's first thing. Second thing is there is absolutely no way I do this trade unless I'm getting Abdul Carter. I do not.
That's the other guy for you.
I do not do this trade for Travis Hunter, and I do not do this trade for Shedeur Sanders. I am actually, and we can.
So if you do the deal and Cleveland goes Abdul Carter, you're like, crap.
It would be a nightmare scenario because I might be alone on this hill. I might be a hater. I drank my Haterade on the way here.
Did you?
I am not a big fan of those two guys. I am not a Travis Hunter fan, and I'm not a Shedeur Sanders fan. At the second or third pick in the draft, I just can't. I don't buy that. I think it's Cam
Why not
Ward
Travis Hunter?
I'm not seeing Travis Hunter the same way other people are. I'm sorry. He got the award for the best, the Biletnikoff and the is it the Bednarik?
Thorpe.
Is it the Thorpe? Yeah. So you got the award for the best DB and the best receiver in college football. Now you got half the scouts breaking him down at receiver and half the scouts breaking him down at DB. And for me, I see the second or third overall pick better utilized as a receiver, but I don't see him as that number one beast receiver that's going to take over a game and dominate in the NFL. I could be wrong here, but I just don't see it. And I like his skill set, but I'm not buying the hype. And I also don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to translate like that. And we've talked about it after.
What is it about Shedeur that you don't think translates?
I just think both of these guys in this draft class are overpumped this year. I think
both quarterbacks.
No,
both Colorado
both
guys?
Those guys.
Okay,
both those guys. I don't think we should be talking about them as the first top 5 picks.
It seems like more and more people are talking about Travis Hunter as a wide receiver before cornerback. I saw something today where they're like, I don't want a 180-pound cornerback trying to tackle a guy 10 times.
Yeah, that's a good point. But also, there's a few and far guys that are 180 pounds in the NFL at receiver that are that elite playmaker that take over a game. I mean, if you look at the top guys in the NFL, 180-pound frame, there's not that many of them that are top 5 guys. So unless you're Tyreek, which is a totally different thing. And he's 200 pounds. But I just don't feel it. So if I was going to do something like that, I think it's Cam Ward or bust if you're picking. But if you are going to sell the farm, which is, I'm going to put this caveat out there as well, I want it to be for Abdul Carter. I want Abdul Carter. I want him anyways, but we need somebody that puts the fear of God into the offensive coordinator, and we haven't had that. And I know we can talk about Harold Landry and all this stuff. There has not been we have not had that dominating guy for a while around here that just wrecks a game. Not besides outside Jeffrey Simmons. I'm talking about from the edge. So
not since maybe Curse.
I was just about to say we need something like that. So if you can be solid that the Browns aren't going to take Abdul Carter, I'm there. The second piece of that, because here's the thing, the Titans, this roster from top to bottom, you can go down to every position group, and every position group, maybe besides interior D-line, needs help, immediate help. I mean, you don't get the first pick overall in the draft unless you are quite in shambles. And so the other thing that goes along with that is if you don't take one, you better be beating those phones to try to get a quarterback in this room. I mean, we talked about this last time I was on, and everybody called me crazy, but I want Aaron Rodgers, okay? And I guess he's going to Pittsburgh now, but who are you going to go get? Who are you going to go get outside of that? Because you got Kirko Thuggins, and all the other domino pieces have fallen into place. What are we going to do at quarterback? And to your point that you made so strong and definitively earlier, we're going to be picking in the top 10 again next year. So I'm okay.
So you're going to give me crap, and then you're going to run it right back.
I told you I was going to. So I'm okay with us knowing that we might have a rough year, rough waters ahead of us. So if you can pick up a second this year, which I think is the meat of this draft, I mean, I'll go out on another little tangent here, but as much as this first pick is intriguing, you don't get the first pick too often, and it's fun to talk about and whatever. It's either Cam Ward or bust if we're picking, or else we're going to get a haul. I'm just as excited to see what we do with that second round draft pick, because there's a lot of good players in the 30 to 50, 20 to 50 range of this draft. That is like, what are the Tennessee Titans? What's Brinker and Borgonzi going to do right there at the number 33 overall or whatever it is? So anyway, I like picking up those picks, but it's only for one dude. It's only if you're going to get Abdul Carter, and that is it for me.
615-737-1045. So from your perspective, you would most likely do a deal with Cleveland if you could and stay away from going to 3 and the chance to not get him.
I would be very certain what Cleveland's trying to do with number 2 before I made that pick. And maybe the price goes up if Cleveland. That's why I like what has happened here. At least from my perspective, I feel like Shedeur Sanders' stock has dropped a little, or the Browns are just really quiet about him, really quiet. And I think Cam Ward's stock is going really in an upward trajectory from when we ended the season. I do believe that anybody in need of a quarterback is going to come hard for that first overall pick, and he is that guy, and it's going to take a lot to get us off that seat. I mean, I even saw a report that we're asking for another first-round pick. So who knows what the Giants are willing to give up.
Well, Pro Football Rumors yesterday put this out there, which is interesting, and you never know, But they wrote, unsurprisingly, the Giants and Browns have reached out to the Titans to discuss moving up for number 1, but Tennessee has not even determined what it would take to make a deal, further suggesting that Cam Ward is their guy. I would argue that why would they tell the Giants or the Browns what they want? Like, there's no way I'm negotiating against myself in that situation, because that's what you would be doing if you tell them what you want. Yeah. Now, you might float out there, hey, it's going to take 2 first-round picks, which maybe they did, and maybe that's where that came from. But in terms of, like, specifically telling the teams, why would you negotiate against yourself?
Well, and
I want your best deal. You tell me what your best deal is.
No doubt. And also, like we said before, we're in zero position to not hear all offers.
And at the same time, I think they're in complete position to put out there that, hey, man, we're good taking Cam Ward. We love him.
Yeah, exactly. It only helps.
But we'll listen to your offer. I'm not going to present you with an offer.
Yeah. Well, we're a 3-14 football team that has holes up and down this roster. So we have put ourselves in a situation where we need a lot of help without a third-round pick and with a ton of draft capital at the end of the draft, but not as much as the front of the draft. And so any phone call that comes in, we have to take it serious. But, I mean, any of these teams we're talking about is probably picking in the top 10 next year. So, I mean, if they're gonna unload, I keep going back to what the Bears did to the Carolina Panthers, man. I mean, that set the bar way too high.
Can you imagine if the Titans traded down, didn't take Cam Ward, and he turned out to be Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I know. That's scary thought. It's scary. And here's the deal.
The most Titans thing ever.
Here's the deal. We led this conversation by going through the Mina Kimes quote, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why we're having this conversation.
Yep.
If we would have started off.
So back to that, her idea was what we've heard consistently. What if you move down to 3? So you get the number 3 overall pick, a second-round pick, which means you end up with 2 this year, 2 second-round picks this year.
Which is huge because of this class.
Yes, and a first-round pick next year, which means you have 2 first-round picks, which could be very high picks.
My point, yes, and that's what we led with, was talking about would we do this. I think it's a coin flip. I think you'd have to sweeten the pot a little bit more for me, because where I want to go is I love Cam Ward. I love him so much. And
you do?
For me, it's become less about on the field for me and more about I've loved watching his interviews off the field, and every time he gets a camera and every interview he does, including Jim Wyatt stuff and anything he's doing for his social media and the thing he did with Shedeur. I mean, all of it to me seems like a guy who's been grinding at Incarnate Word, grinding at Washington State, grinding at Miami, wants to get better, also has a swagger about him, also has a confidence about him, also knows, hey, I got to work on that. Hey, I'm going to do whatever these teams ask me to do, and just feels like loves the game of football. And, you know, we got to watch, it was a joy last year to watch a 3-14 football team down the stretch. We got to watch a team that didn't feel very inspired, didn't have a lot of guys that felt like were dogs on Sundays that were getting after and with a ton of passion. I'm almost over seeing the combine stuff and the numbers and the film. I'm more interested in the guys that we pull the trigger on and sitting in the room with them and saying, how much do you love this game? What are you willing, you know, how much do you want to grind and get better? How much do you want to put into this? Do you love playing football? Is it all you think about? Is it all you'd want to do? Because we need more guys like that. That's how you change the culture in the locker room.
That's exactly what Cam Ward seems to be.
That's how I feel.
You know what I mean?
And I want to surround him with guys who are in that same mode. I'm sick of dudes that are just, I hate to say it, but soft and passive when they put the pads on, man. And you can't really tell that through the combine and stuff like that. But these guys know what their interviews. These guys know what they see. They know how, if a guy's playing aggressive. They know if a guy plays 12 straight games in the SEC, if he's consistent or if he takes games off and doesn't want to play. They know that. And I want to see this team surrounded, because on the way in, I listened to Blaine and Zach talk about it. And the question is, what is the identity of this Tennessee Titans football team? And goodness gracious, there is no answer to that question. There is no answer to that question. And it ain't toughness. It's not.
Remember Tommy Smith? He didn't last very long. We had him on 3HL, and I asked him that question, and it like shook him to try to answer that question. And literally, he was replaced by Amy Adams Strunk, a week later. It seemed like. Maybe quicker.
You have to know, and I think Coach Callie is trying to figure it out. I think he found out real quick that this line was brutal last year, and they're making a huge attempt to fix it. But I mean, it still seems to me that after King Henry departed, we have not found a single identity on offense. Now, that being said, you got to give a feather in the hat. You got to give some kudos to Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, who came in here and both put up 1,000-yard seasons and produced on an offense that was abysmal.
We always talk about Brian Callahan kind of gives you the true thought in his head, right? Like when a question is answered, and he did that 90 minutes with A to Z Sports where he kind of went through what he was trying to do offensively, and he said, what he tries to do in terms of his thought process offensively didn't match Will Levis. So he said Will Levis, his strengths are throw the ball down the field, 9 routes, comebacks. And so we had to kind of adjust what we wanted to do to him. And that answer, I was brief in how I gave obviously his details much more succinct than mine. But, that's kind of the gist of it. And I came away from that thinking there's no way Will Levis throws another pass for him unless somebody in front of him gets injured. And now I think he gets traded on draft day or draft day 2 or whatever. But I think he told you a lot about the offensive system we saw last year isn't what he necessarily wants it to be.
I think exactly what you're saying. You either get this guy who's going to be a game changer like Cam Ward, right? You get a guy who is going to move the needle and inspire your team and be the future of this city, right? Somebody who is going to put this on his shoulders. Or I think you get a guy like Kirk Cousins. I already told you I want Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think that's happening. But you get a guy like Kirk Cousins in here, you trade for a guy like that, who I think is a perfect guy to bridge this thing with Brian Callahan, who is better suited, it feels like, to be dealing with veteran quarterbacks in this offense right now. So if hitting those checkdowns, making those reads, getting those line of scrimmage adjustments happening, and a guy like Kirk Cousins comes in, and then Callie can run what he's trying to run.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So your thought may be if you could work out a deal to 2, take Abdul Carter, bring in Kirk Cousins, draft class next year at quarterback much better, at least the top of it. And maybe go that route next year or the year after even.
Absolutely, but you can't even make that. You can't even make that trade. you can't make that trade for the draft picks unless you have a quarterback plan.
Right.
I mean,
Because
we cannot
the quarterback room right now. You
buddy.
don't go to week 1 with this.
Abysmal. It's bad.
Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle. Is it Tim Boyle?
Tim Boyle, yeah.
Boyle. He's kind of a last name guy,
rules.
right? Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think we're sorry.
Now you've got the image of Billy Madison and throwing the dodgeballs at little kids.
I mean, but I feel for a guy like Will Levis because you got it's hard to get to this place. It's hard to snap, be the starting quarterback and all those things, and he's done it. And kudos to him. But I don't think he ever wears two-tone blue again. I don't know why he would want to. I think a fresh start for him would be the best thing possible.
Right. If you want to watch the show live, you can. YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. Twitch, please.
Oh.
Mama C. Praise writes, is Mary Annie wearing Babs's earphones? Pretty in pink.
I got caught again, dude.
She has a thing about that, too.
Oh, great.
So, if you want to communicate with members of the 3HL family, you can. There's a chat room involved. YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. Twitch, please. Slay Dog's going to check in at some point live from San Antonio. If he does, we'll talk with him. If he doesn't, we'll talk about this little story that Jim White had out there. After the Colorado Pro Day, the Titans brass met with Shedeur Sanders' camp, and the parties agreed to cancel Wednesday's private workout. What does that tell you, if anything? 615-737-1045.
As a customer of Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, I would love to recommend them to you. Call them today. Check them out at PellaNashville.com or go visit one of their showrooms. Their showrooms are amazing. One in Franklin, 277 Mallory Station Road. There's another one in Hendersonville. That's their newest location, 256 East Main Street, right there at the corner of East Main and Indian Lake Boulevard. So you can just stop in there, check out all their windows and doors, and you might be surprised to learn how affordable replacement windows are from Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Affordable and, of course, the best quality, made, manufactured right here in the U.S. Lifetime warranties on all their products, and Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville also backs up their labor and installation with a 10-year labor warranty, which is leading in the industry. I always tell you about the Dawn deal. I got the Dawn deal from April, and it is a good one. 55% off qualifying installations and no interest if paid in full within 12 months. So go ahead and schedule your free consultation. Check out that Dawn deal. Just tell them to give you the Dawn deal. PellaNashville.com.
What's happening, y'all? This is an important message from my good friends over at Bart Durham Injury Law. So you're getting these accidents and, you're sitting at home and you're getting bills. They're starting to pile up. You're thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How do I attack this? Well, I got something for you. Bart Durham Injury Law, that's where Blair and the family step in. His team will go out and fight for you. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. Why would they stop now? You just need to know this number, 615-242-9000. So while all of this is happening, and if someone calls you while you're sitting there, while these bills are stacking up, they call you after wreck, they're breaking the law. I bet you didn't know that. That's right. They are lawyers. There are lawyers out there breaking the law. Blair and the team at Bart Durham Injury Law, they don't play those type of games. When you make the call, they answer. They're local, trusted, and ready to fight. No gimmicks, just a team that's on your side from the start. So if you or someone you love is ever in a wreck, remember Blair's number, 615-242-9000. That's 615-242-9000. Local, trusted, ready to fight for you.
3HL 104.5 The Zone National Championship game coming up tonight at 7:50 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Yep.
Hey.
Look at us.
Westwood One coverage
Look at us.
of the national championship game. You can also watch it on CBS. Brent Doherty and Moonshine. Mark Mariani, are you going to have a blood in the water pick?
Technically, let me see how this game's lining up.
Florida by 1.5. So
yeah,
it would
I might be able to.
If you had a blood
I might
in the
be
water
able to.
pick.
It's going to be fun. But I got to be honest, man. It's always bittersweet. And are you a guy who I mean, by the time this game gets over, it'll be what, like 10:30, 11? But I mean, they make you wait now for one shining moment.
Oh,
I mean,
man,
they make
they
you
draw it
wait.
out.
Yeah, they do the
They want those
presentation.
numbers,
I'm just, my eyelids are tight, but I'll tell you, what do you even call that? The mix of videos or whatever. I mean,
Montage.
that montage is like
with Luther.
heavenly, but it's bittersweet. When they're playing it, it's like, oh God,
It
you're
does
not
get a little
crying.
dusty.
You're not crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah.
It's a little dusty in here.
I'll get emotional.
I got allergies, bro. No.
Because then it turns into like the long wait to football. So then you fully go into the draft.
Well,
right?
no.
And then the draft happens, and then you're like, oh my gosh. But at least you have mini
Masters
camps
week.
and Masters is coming up this week.
That's one of the things that
Hello, friends.
Oh,
I texted with Jim Nance today, as a matter of fact, because he's still in San Antonio supporting his Houston Cougs.
that's sick.
So
Unbelievable.
he's going to go to Augusta after the Houston game.
Something tells me that guy needs no prep work. He just shows up and just balls. I mean, just balls. Hey, you're calling men's professional lacrosse today. All right, I got this. No problem. No problem.
I
at
want
all.
to see a scroll of all of the like championship type events that he has called.
It's
Like when
unreal.
you go through all the Final Four, the national championship games, all the NFL stuff, all the college football. It was like we pulled up old college football clips for a couple of guests that we had recently. Like Jay Graham, for example, took the Centennial High School job. He played running back at Tennessee, okay? He had a huge run against Alabama that beat them in 1996. And we pulled the call
No way.
for Jay Graham when he came on and played it, and it was Jim Nance calling that
Oh, my
play.
gosh. Now that's wild.
Isn't it?
That's cool. That is pretty sweet. That's cool.
So anyway, that's what's going on. 615-737-1045, talking a lot about the Titans and the NFL draft, man. We're almost 2 weeks from the first round. Thursday is 2 weeks, right? I think that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
April
upon
7th. Yep.
So let me ask you this. You got your thumb on the pulse. How do Titans fans feel? Mayor, like, what are we talking about here?
I think Titans fans are all over the board on this. So there's trade down guy. There's like the trade down group, and then there's the take Cam Ward group. That's kind of the only two groups. So my question has been for those guys, and we ask it every once in a while, because I think people change their mind day to day almost on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's always healthy to ask that question ever so often. But like, if you're trade down guy, who do you want? So if you're trade down guy,
There's only one.
Moonshine, you only want Abdul Carter.
There's only one answer for me.
So the injury stuff doesn't concern you at all with him.
Not so much, because I think they've done their physicals. You know,
And there's plenty of time.
yeah. I mean, it obviously concerns me. I mean, and what we went through with, say, Caleb Farley or whatever, but we drafted Big Jeff off an injury too, right? So it works both ways. But in modern medicine, I mean, what was it? A stress fracture, and he got time off. I mean, dude, you're playing in the Big Ten, dude. I mean, you're going to get a little banged up and all those things. And it was the end of the season, and he never missed a snap. So not so much. I think we'd check it out. But honestly, I really don't think I don't think you trade down outside of 3. And I don't think you use that. I don't think there's a scenario that I like that without Abdul Carter being involved. Because I think he's the biggest game changer. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have sure there's the trade back contingent, but if you're a part of the trade back contingent, then you better tell me what your plan is at quarterback, because
That's right.
you cannot start the season tomorrow.
Well, and my point on that is, like, it's nothing personal to Boyle or Brandon Allen or Levis even. Like, I I think all of those guys would be like, if I were an NFL GM, I probably wouldn't want to go to an opening day like this with this quarterback group.
I mean,
obviously they believe in self and all those things, and they're very confident people, or they wouldn't be where they are. But
No way.
And in terms of being fair to Levis, the way to I think kind of think about it in another way with regard to Levis is he hasn't had the same play caller, the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row since Penn State or maybe high school.
Wow.
Think about that. And so he would have that opportunity, right, to get more entrenched in the same offensive system 2 years in a row. Callahan theoretically would know his quarterback better, but I think he outlined the differences in what they want to do schematically offensively and what Levis's skill set is. And that tells me that group would not have drafted him.
For the best for these three parties, myself, the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I think that's how every fan looks at it,
Will
right?
Levis.
Yeah.
For those three parties,
he needs
including Will Levis,
he needs a new
he cannot suit up for the Titans ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't. I think it's just.
It's played itself out.
It's played itself out. It's not all his fault, for sure. This organization needs a cleanup. I think the best thing we did was hire Borgonzi and put Brinker involved. I mean, these guys are football guys that are locking themselves in the draft room and not speaking to anybody until, sun up to sundown. I think it's going to change the culture. It might take some time, but it feels like we're headed in that direction. But what comes with that is they want a clean house. They want their own guys in the room. They want their everything. So if you want to talk about, grading a guy out and being fair to somebody, where does Brian Callahan fit into this? Where does he fit into, hey, I need a guy to come run my offense? Like, don't judge me with the quarterback that you gave me. I tried my best in this offensive line. I tried my best with what I had, but now if they look at him and say, here's the keys, who do you want to give him to? Is it a KG vet like Kirk Cousins? Do you want to draft Cam? Then we're going to have to judge him with a very fine-tooth comb after his second year. But I propose this question, Titans Nation. What does the Tennessee Titans 2025 season, how many wins do we need this year for Brian Callahan to be completely safe with his job?
I think one thing is he set the bar well with the 3 wins, right? Like in year one.
Well, yeah.
Because you get year 2, so the bar is 3. So if you win 6, you know what I mean? You've doubled it. You've exceeded Vegas's 5.5 win total.
Wow.
So, I mean, is that all it takes, or do you need more than that? 615-737-1045 is the number. Irvin says on Twitter, I'm good with Ward, but if a good offer comes, go for it, especially if it's with the Giants and potentially a Manning in the draft next year. That's true, but you can't count on quarterbacks coming out anymore.
I'm really not.
You know what I mean?
I'm not a tank for anybody guy.
Okay. Brandon says, I'll pluck my eyeballs out with a fork before I'll watch Levis quarterback this team again.
I'm with you, Brandon. But no, I don't mean it negatively. Hope you get your best opportunity, Will. Gosh darn it. I mean, I don't want to be negative. The guy's
It's not personal.
It's not personal, but I just, even for him, like, it just, I can't even, there's been talk, and I've heard, and we got a long offseason, so we just throw all sorts of stuff, but there's been talk about him being the backup here and stuff.
Yeah.
Get out of here with
Timothy
that.
says, I love
Hey, let's
Mark.
draft Cam Ward and let Will Levis be the backup. What are we smoking on this? We cannot be talking about that.
They've got to trade him if they can. So, I mean, Joe Milton was traded.
Hey, can we give...
He started one game.
Hey, can we give a on-air applause to Joe Milton, Joe Milton, our VFL, goes in for the Patriots and wins week 17, 18.
And gives the Titans the number one over.
Guys, let's be very honest about this. We would not even be sitting in these chairs having this conversation if it weren't for Joe Milton winning the game for the Patriots.
He played so well,
and giving us the number one overall pick.
Yes.
We'd be fighting over 2, 3, 4.
Right. And now
Joe Milton.
It took a 5th-round pick to get him and a 7th rounder. So what is Will Levis's value? If Joe Milton is worth a 5th, Joe Milton in a 7th is worth a 5th, what would Will Levis be worth? 615-737-1045. Timothy says, I love Mark.
Oh, Timothy. God, love you, bro. Thanks, dog.
Will Anderson, 1983. Cam will smoke Will in practice, not a risk. Easy money.
No, it's not a risk. It's why is Will Levis in that room is the point. That's my point. You can't have him in the room.
Brandon says, I cringe every time Will Levis drops back.
Oh my God.
So does Will,
Hey,
probably.
listen, it's funny to think. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he didn't have much help either. That's the problem. It's the problem. But it's funny to think a year ago, we were with all those free agent signings, and we were so optimistic that this team's going to go as far as Will Levis can take us. Well, 3-14.
Yeah. The Titans in Colorado canceled the private workout Wednesday. What does that mean? We'll talk about that as we move through the show. When we come back, new Titans play-by-play broadcaster Taylor Zarszer will join us next on 3HL. I want to tell you about my friends at Cupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That is where you need to go to get that next new vehicle, whether you're looking for a new car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or Jeep. These are your guys, and you can check out the entire inventory as well as all of the deals they have going on online at GuptonMotors.com. They've got standalone employee pricing for all coming up, actually going on right now. Jeep Wrangler. All kinds of Jeeps they have at employee pricing. Ram truck, heavy duty, including chassis cab, ProMaster, ICE, and ProMaster EV, Dodge Chargers, Daytona, the Charger Daytona, Hornet ICE, Hornet, and Durango, Fiat 500E, Alfa Romeos. They've got all kinds of deals going on. Just check them out online. And you can do that at GuptonMotors.com. This program is a standalone and is not compatible with existing in-market retail incentives. So just check them out. All you need to do is ask Daniel Gupton and his crew what's going on with regard to employee pricing, and you can get it done this month at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee, just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Get it done there. GuptonMotors.com, the website. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Interest rates have plummeted, and it's time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dawn Davenport from 3HL. If you're looking to get cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or do a home improvement project, well, Loan Pronto can make it happen in a matter of days. Take advantage of this opportunity and get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards, pay off car loans. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info at loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs have put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation. But if you own a home, there is a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them out. Get a lower mortgage rate. Get some money for that home improvement project. It all starts by getting in contact with the experts. Loan Pronto. LoanPronto.com or call now at 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
It is 4:04. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news, according to the NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Titans are hosting Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson and Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts on 30 visits today ahead of the NFL draft later this month. The men's basketball national championship is set for this evening as Houston and Florida will play for it all tonight in San Antonio. You can hear that game on The Zone following 3HL. The offseason has begun for the Vols men's basketball team as they had two commitments from the portal over the weekend as former Belmont and Maryland guard Jacoby Gillespie and former Vanderbilt Jalen Carey both chose the Vols this weekend. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Look at that sun, y'all. Hadn't seen it in a while.
So beautiful. What a majestic vision.
That is not the voice of Don Davenport. That is the voice of Mark Mariani.
Hey, it's me. Twitch, please.
Mayor of Moonshine today with you. Mark Mariani, former Titan Pro Bowler. You're gonna have the lifetime kick return record for a Pro Bowl. Nobody's ever going to break that.
Dude.
Because they don't do it anymore.
Do they make like can I get a bus somewhere for that?
Yeah.
Do they put me in like, where's that going to be located?
At the flea market in Honolulu, right outside the stadium.
I'll take it. Waikiki? Just a bus down there?
Dawn Davenport will be back tomorrow. Let me put it this way. She would much rather be here than what she had to deal with today. Let me put it that way. Slay Dog is in San Antonio.
He's not in the building.
And Zeph got married. So I'm here with Moonshine.
They really went down the bullpen there. And so everybody's busy on Monday afternoon. So they said, hey, little Italian kid, come on the radio, spew some nonsense. I said, sure thing. I'm here for you, Bubba.
Jackson filling in for Zeph, who got married. Zeph's wedding went well. I heard he texted us. He texted us a Titan story at like 4:30 in the afternoon. His wedding was at 4.
No.
How do you do that?
What are you doing? Maybe it was 5:30.
That's dedication right there. That's the kind of people you want in this building.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Also, he said the weather went well considering what everyone was dealing with. He said it was sunny pretty much all day, but windy. Rain hit around 7:30, he said. So it couldn't have been better considering everything. So props to Zeph. He arrived at his honeymoon location because he gave us that update, too. Like, he's still texting us all the time.
I'm telling you, that's
so
a winning
funny
mentality.
Yeah.
No days off.
No days off for this guy either. Taylor Zarszer, our new Titans play-by-play broadcaster. Taylor, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. How are we doing today?
Doing well. Congrats. Appreciate you hopping on for sure. And it's not a very well-known secret the last couple of weeks, but announced today. So how does it feel to be Titans play-by-play man?
It's the best day of my career. That's how it feels.
Wow, there you go.
I love doing play-by-play and being the voice of a community that I love and once worked in years ago, and I'm thrilled to be back. My wife and I have some of the people that stood next to us on our wedding that are from Nashville. I come there a couple times a year doing SEC games, and for years we've talked about moving back there. I never imagined this is what it would be for, but it is. It's the chance of a lifetime. There are only, 32 of these gigs, and to get to do it in a town that we love so much, it's just I know that people say that, and you're like, do they really mean it? We really do. This is a family opportunity for us to be involved in that community, and for me to get to do something that I love to do. It's just it's an incredible day.
Well, when I mentioned that you were coming on today to Slay and Davenport, they were both like, "Damn, I wish we were there." But Dawn was like, "Man, I really love Taylor. We're gonna have to get him on again. I hate that I'm missing this." So she wanted to tell you hello and congratulations.
Well, I've worked with her a ton on television, and she is a great friend, and I think she's an extremely talented person. So I'm pumped to be in the same town with her and with all of y'all.
How much pressure do you feel? Let me just go ahead and throw this out here to replace Mike Keith. I mean, 12-time Tennessee Sportscaster of the Year. He's in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. He's done it since '99. Voice of the Vols. Do you feel a sense of pressure replacing Mike?
You know, I would say this. I embrace it. Like the opportunity to follow in his footsteps is one that I'm totally embracing. I think we should celebrate it instead of being scared of it or, you know, being nervous about it. I think we should celebrate it. And I'm hopeful that he'll allow me to use him as a resource as much as possible. I've already had a couple of great communications with him in the last 6 to 9 months. I had no earthly idea he was going to go call the Vols when we started communicating last season. And I think the world of him. I think the connection that he's made with the community is one that I admire. And candidly, I hope that I'm able to build that sort of connection. But I also know that's not going to happen overnight. Who the heck is this guy? I'm sure there's going to be some of that starting out with. You know, when Mike did the job for almost 30 years, it's going to be a very challenging position to replace somebody that built that kind of legacy. But, guys, I'm going to celebrate it. We're going to play his calls. We're going to talk about his calls. I hope we name the new radio booth in the new stadium the Mike Keith Room. Like, he deserves that. And anybody that would be in my position would feel that. But I'm going to try to be me. I'm going to try to build a connection that's similar to his. But I talk like somebody that grew up in Alabama, that lived in Tennessee and North Carolina. I don't have the exact same accent he has. I definitely have a Southern one. But I'm going to try to be Taylor Zarszer. The last thing I'm going to try to do is try to be Mike. But I sure as hell am going to try my darndest to, throughout the community, connect to everybody in town the way that he did. And not just in Nashville, but obviously the whole footprint.
Taylor, that fires me up, man. This is Mark Mariani. I look forward to meeting you. Congratulations, man. That sounds so awesome.
Do you get a trophy of some sort for this Pro Bowl record?
It's crazy. What's the yardage total?
I don't know, but here's the deal, Taylor.
Okay,
the story goes
321 yards.
Something crazy, but the story goes like this, Taylor. You know this, is that if the kick returner is returning the ball so many times, it means your defense cannot stop anybody. So I think I played, and I think the
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I think the NFC scored about 60 on us, and so the numbers for the return man out there running around like a chicken with his head cut off got inflated a bit.
Also on the kick coverage team, there was literally only one guy that was trying to
London,
and he was trying to disassemble you.
London Fletcher took it as a point to not let me walk off that field, and I was like, "Can nobody?" Wow. And think about this: that nobody wanted to play special teams that was there for offense. So it was like, "Can somebody just block this one guy because he's every play?" Anyway, I'll tell you the story later. But man, I'm so happy for you. It's pretty awesome, and you're right. We'll celebrate Mike, and he got his dream job as well. And so my question is this. Nashville, Tennessee, this hustle bustle music city. I'm sure it's changed a lot since you have been here, but it sounds like you've already touched on it. What does it mean to be coming to a city that has so much buzz, so much popularity, so much hype? And not only that, we're building this new stadium, and we're this huge entertainment scene, and you're just the sports is turning up in Nashville and all that stuff, and now you're going to be right in the center of it.
Well, you nailed it, and this is why I wasn't looking to be the voice of any NFL team. I would not consider, if I didn't grow up in the Deep South and I hadn't spent time in Nashville, I love doing play-by-play, and it's a big part of who I am. But as much as I love doing an NFL game on Sundays starting this year, living in Nashville and being in the community that you just described is a massive part of this. Representing the community that you just described is a huge part of this. So, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that want to be the voice of an NFL team, and they don't care where that is located. I'm a little different. This being Nashville is a huge part of why I'm coming here and why I want to do this. I've had a chance, I'd say on average, like 2 times a year the last 10 years doing Vandy games on SEC Network or doing the Music City Bowl. The last football game I called was the Music City Bowl in Nissan Stadium, and I certainly have been able to see how much the city has changed since I lived there by coming there a couple times a year. And yeah, there's a ton of energy in that community, and it feels almost like nothing else in our country, at least in the last 10 plus years, especially since COVID, just how the town has exploded. And I think you can also feel that in the facility, guys. I know that team is coming off of a 3-win season and they have the first pick in the draft, but there's so many new faces in that building that are representing the team on the field, on the sideline, or in the front office. And it's kind of fun to be at the beginning of this new rebuild that the Titans have going on right now. And that's another appealing part of this.
That's a great point.
Taylor Zarszer with us now, the new Titans play-by-play broadcaster. So let's go back. So where did you grow up? Did you always want to get into broadcasting? What was your story in terms of your development and to following this career path?
I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and since I was 5 years old, this is what I've wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a play-by-play broadcaster, and for the longest time, I was doing sports radio in Nashville and then in North Carolina for many years. It led me to Sirius XM, where originally I was doing some college football on their channel there, and ultimately I had some opportunities to do some play-by-play on the side. It led me to doing TV for ESPN and radio for Sirius XM, and golf and football became the two things I sort of consolidated my career towards. But to answer your question, yes. I mean, since I was very young, this is what I wanted to do. And it's extremely fulfilling to me to get to do something that I've always dreamed of doing. And I don't ever lose sight of that. When I was really little, we could get 750 WSB out of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I could hear Larry Munson calling the Georgia Bulldogs, who, by the way, also had a connection in Nashville. But Munson and the way he represented Georgia fans was always so appealing to me. And I'm not saying that I'm going to sound like I'm having a heart attack on the air like Munson did, but you're going to hear somebody that is representing Titans fans, that's representing many of which are SEC fans. And I think there's a lot of synergy between an SEC fan and a Titans fan. And you will, when Calvin Ridley makes an incredible catch over the middle and the Titans have a fresh set of downs and there's buzz in the stadium, you're going to hear that in my voice. I get fired up. I get excited. And, you know, there's a lot of people that are out there listening that have all sorts of stress going on in their life. You should be an escape from that. And I never, ever want to lose sight of that. I'll always think about that, and I certainly will do that representing the Titans.
Taylor Zarszer with us. Larry Munson was one of my favorite guys. Growing up a Tennessee fan, John Ward obviously is key to me in terms of wanting to get into broadcasting and all of those things. But I would listen to WSB, especially at night. That's when you could pick up those big sticks. But loved listening to him. And quick side note, when I got my first radio job, it was actually in this building, but it was for 1510 WLAC, and I was working for...
Oh, so you could listen to John Ward, which you could hear. You could hear that station everywhere, too.
That's one of those, and KMOX and WLW and WWL, all those big sticks back in the day. But literally, Taylor, when I walked into the lobby, I had my interview, and I was bringing like a handwritten letter thanking Kelly Carls, was the program director. And so I was delivering that, and Larry Munson was sitting on the couch because he recorded a radio show that he did in that building. And so he sat and talked with me for like 15 minutes for no reason, but I'm glad you brought him up. So for those that don't know, Taylor, you've been doing SEC Network. I'm 99% of our audience knows this, but for those that don't, you've been doing SEC Network, college football SEC Network games for a number of years. Will you continue to fulfill that role?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to do those games on Saturday.
That's awesome.
And then get to Nashville or get to wherever the Titans are playing, which happens to be the NFC West and AFC West in 2025. So this will be a little more challenging this year, but what a year to start, right? No,
long airplane rides.
That's right. But I typically do an earlier game on Saturday, which won't make it that complicated. My man Wes Durham, who's one of my closest friends in the industry, does ACC primetime games on Saturday night, and somehow he can get to the Falcons games 5 hours later. So I'm not nearly as worried about me turning around and getting to Titans games the following day. But, yeah, I'm going to continue to do that. That's a big labor of love. I've already contacted ESPN and asked them if I can do 12 Vanderbilt games for the 2025 season. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, it is in Nashville, and being so close to all these SEC schools, I don't think it'll be that challenging. But it's a great labor of love of mine to get to do those games. Being from Mobile, Alabama, living in Nashville for as long as I did, the SEC means a great deal to me. And then to get to turn around and represent a team the next day, I mean, this is like this is paradise for me, really. I mean, this is just one of those big pinch me moments.
Well, you're going to fit in well with this show.
It sounds like your schedule's pretty light. We'll find some high school games Friday night for you in the Nashville area. Do a little triple header.
Golf in the off season. I'm calling you right now from Augusta, Georgia, where we'll be broadcasting the Masters on the radio this week for Sirius XM, and I'll still do the majors and a few other tournaments in the off season. But yes, the football season will be quite wild. But
hey, Taylor,
you know what? Thankfully, I have a loving wife who does come with me quite a bit on these trips, so we're going to have a ton of fun.
Well, you've carved out a nice little life for yourself there, bro.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of fun. So you're going to host the Brian Callahan radio show, the Titans Football with Brian Callahan TV show as well. Am I missing something or some things to still be determined maybe?
Yeah, you got it. I think that's it for now, and I'll go wherever you tell me in the community the rest of the week. But no, I'll be doing as much as I can to meet as many Titans fans as I can, and represent all the affiliates as well. But yes, I'll be doing those shows on Mondays and calling the games on Sunday, and I will be talking to Coach Mack.
Yes,
as much as I possibly can, certainly before the season starts. That's another big part of this. Coach Mack is a legend. Titans fans love him. That was a big part of why I wanted to do this. Getting to call games with him and talk to him during these games is going to be a ton of fun. Mike and Coach Mack had this connection to the audience that felt like they were sitting in the same room with you, and we're going to do the same thing. Again, I may sound a little different than Mike, and I'm going to be me, but we still will have that connection with the audience, and we will keep it so much fun to listen to, and I can't wait to get started with him.
Yeah, I loved reading that as a part of the release. Also, Rhett Bryant and Amy Wells, for those wondering, retain their game day responsibilities as well. So it's going to be fun.
Congratulations, Taylor, man. It's really exciting. Can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, and thanks so much for doing this today. I know you've been busy, man.
Man, I'm happy to do it. It really is. It's the best day of my career, and I'm really grateful to the two of you for asking me and to get to celebrate this news with you guys. And I can't wait to be there. I'm going to be there in a few weeks for good and during the draft. And we have a lot of excitement about what's going to happen on that Thursday night. And I'll be there with you guys to find out.
Well, and let us know when you're in town because we need to get you in studio for more of an extended conversation. And I know Babs wants to talk with you on air as well, and Slay will certainly want to put you in his boom boom room. So those are things that we'll
count on that.
Have you heard about the boom boom room yet?
No, I'm definitely coming to the studio now, though.
Yeah, Ron Slay's. We'll have it warmed up for you.
It's kind of why I didn't ask you like personal questions, like what food do you like to eat and where do you like to travel, and then he'll go from there. But
hot chicken, barbecue, meat and three. I'll eat all of it.
Hey, you know what to do.
So don't you worry.
You know what to do.
Yeah,
here.
he's not going to be fazed by the boom boom room, dude. He's not scared.
Taylor, congratulations, man.
You can count on me for that.
I love it. Congratulations. Thanks for hopping on, man. We'll talk soon.
You got it, my friends. Thank you.
All right, Taylor Zarszer. SEC Network College Football on Saturdays, Titans play-by-play on Sundays, Brian Callahan Show on Mondays. My man's got PGA in the offseason. My man's going to be busy.
We should have asked him his Masters picks, man. Dang.
Well, I mean, Scheffler's the favorite, and then it's everybody else.
There's always those sleepers, man.
Rory McIlroy is second on the list, but you could make some okay money with him.
I got all these office pools I got to turn in, man. Research starts now. Right now.
Well, you might be able to slide a little question into Todd Furman when we have him on at 5 o'clock
to
talk about the basketball game. But anyway, there's Taylor Zarszer, man. When we come back, we'll get into that little question about the Titans canceling. I guess it was a mutual cancellation of the private workout of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter that was supposed to be held on Wednesday. We'll talk about that next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Want to tell you all about the Zen Sports app because it is the best. The Zen Sports app right here in Tennessee, they're local. It's going to be getting a major upgrade soon, and they'll be launching the new state-of-the-art VIP Play app later this April. And what does that mean for you? It means you're going to be able to bet on more than 200 sports leagues, and you can parlay nearly every single bet offered, period. I'll have my own special same-game parlays featured for you. So will many more of your favorite sports talk hosts right here in Tennessee. So get in while you can and use my promo code DAWNTN to sign up, DAWNTN, to make sure you sign up for Zen Sports and get ready for the new state-of-the-art VIP Play app. Head to zensports.com/VIP Play to learn more and claim that early welcome bonus offer on VIP Play when it launches in Tennessee later this month. Get ready for it, Zen Sports. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. You got to be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
What's happening, man? Brentwood Jewelry, BrentwoodJewelry.com. You need to hustle on over there. Why wouldn't you? Because when it comes to exceptional styles and the deals that they bring, it's been happening every day. How long, Slay? For over 50 years. I'm telling you that right now. 7012 Church Street East, located smack dead, boom, in the middle of Brentwood, the heart of it, just off Franklin Road. So you want to go get involved in this engagement? Let me give you 3 things you're going to look for. First, you're going to ask your partner how involved they want to be in choosing the ring. Second, discuss the expectations, not just what style of ring or cut of the diamond. Talk about other expectations too, like the proposal. See, these are things that Zeph knew walking into it. That's why he's on his way. That's why a guy like Will Lee Bowling is on his way. Now, if she wants to be involved, stop by Brentwood Jewelry to browse for rings together and get valuable feedback. If she wants to be surprised, start a conversation, and Brandon and them will take care of it, kind of like your boy did. You get that? Exceptional style, exceptional deals every single day for over 50 years. It won't stop. It's BrentwoodJewelry.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani in the house.
Ooh. Let's go.
Boy in the Water Pit coming up.
Oh, gosh. Okay. It's an easy one, man. There's not too many options.
Oh, easy because there are not too many options.
No,
Maybe
we're
not
only
easy
picking one game.
because it may or may not happen.
We can get into the game, man. I'm excited.
Florida, a 1.5-point favorite over Houston.
But I think Houston's even money, aren't they? It's like close enough that it's...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about Walter Clayton Jr., though?
Well, are we going to bust into this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
We'll get back into the Titans in a second.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be so fun. You got, the number 1 ranked defense in the country versus the number 3 ranked offense in the country. I think it's something like Houston's holding teams to 56 points and Florida scoring 85. I mean, it is going to be unbelievable tonight. But here's my 2 cents on it. Florida Gators have been on life support 3 times already in this tournament. They have been on life support against UConn, against Texas Tech, and they were down to Auburn. I mean, dude, and Walter Clayton Jr. comes out and saves the day. And I'm just going, okay, well, here's how I look at it.
What are you doing, Jackson?
You
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday, but sorry, Texas Tech, Maryland. No, they smoked Maryland. UConn. Yeah, it was UConn. UConn, Texas Tech, and Auburn. They're getting beat, and Walter Clayton Jr. has to pull a rabbit out of his hat. So here's the way I look at this tonight. I think Houston, with all that they have, the experience, the defense, the tenacity, the conditioning, all the stuff, the coaching, Kelvin Sampson, I think there's you can write the story a lot of ways that ends in a Houston W, right? There's a lot of ways that it could go down where Houston gets the win. To me, the Florida Gators have one route, and that route is Walter Clayton Jr. goes off for 30. That's the only way they win. If he has a cold stretch, a cold shooting streak, a bad first quarter, misses a couple, you do not want to play from behind against Houston. They showed it. Now, listen, Duke gave that game away. Gave it away in the last 10 minutes of the game. But I just feel like Houston.
They led by 13 with 10 minutes to go.
It was
like minus 10,000 if you would have taken Duke at that point.
Oh my gosh, that reminded me a lot of the Patriots versus the Falcons in the in the sense of there was about 12 possessions that all went Houston's way. That if even one of them goes Duke's way, they win the game.
Well,
but every one of them went against them.
It felt like at halftime, Auburn had complete control, like a stranglehold on Florida, too. Up by 8, but an 8-point lead is different when it's Auburn in the way that they play physical defense. But that's what we talked about it on Friday. Whenever Florida is in trouble and they start a run or they need a run stopped or they need a big shot late, it is Walter Clayton Jr. that gets it done. Oddly enough, Gator Mike is on hold. And Gator Mike, I mean, it wasn't, 10 seconds after that game I texted you congrats?
You did, my friend. Oddly enough, I did hear nothing from Dawn, so, I'll have to give her hell about that.
Well,
but that's
she was having a tough day.
That's right. Mark, let me tell you something.
Talk to me.
It's not just Walter Clayton Jr. You've got Thomas Howell coming off the bench. A couple of those shots he doesn't make, it doesn't matter what Walter Clayton does. Plus, you got Denzel Aberdeen and Hall come off the bench. We're going to keep throwing that depth at them. We got 4 bigs going at their big guys. Put it this way, if Florida scores 65 points, we win that game. Houston has to slow down the pace because Florida's got scorers besides Walter Clayton Jr., but Walter Clayton has been so clutch. I just feel like our depth and our shooting, Will Richard hasn't hit a 3 since Sweet 16. He's due. So I just got a feeling it's going to be where Florida is going to take control of that game. They know this is it. They're going to get transition. If you notice against Auburn the other night, Auburn key was to not let him get out and have transition. We had no fast break points to those Elijah Martin dunks, right? Those are ridiculous. But,
especially
Walter Clayton Jr. got to be the best Florida Gator basketball player ever to come out of that program. I know the back-to-backs were great, but also Walter Clayton Jr., the first-team All-American. How's that for a stat, Brent?
Yeah, I mean,
pretty amazing when you think of
that's crazy.
all those guys.
My thought on this game, though, is that it's going to be tight all the way through it. I just think Houston is going to be able to play the kind of defense that extends to the perimeter that gives Florida some trouble. Maybe, maybe in a situation like that, maybe Houck hits a couple of threes, because they'll be slow to rotate over to him. Not that, you pick your shooter, so to speak, when you play defense like that. But, yeah, I mean, Walter Clayton Jr. is
well, and the one other thing, too, Brent, like a lot of the analysts are talking about Houston's defense. I mean, Tennessee was the top two defensively in the country, and Florida played them twice. So or three times, really, right? Two in the regular season, once SEC tournament. They know how to play against a good defensive team, and Todd Golden has been great this tournament with second-half adjustments. So I'm feeling pretty confident about tonight. Like I said, I still think it's going to be a close game. I think I threw out earlier I had like a 66-61 game for Florida. So I hope they get it done. Hope they bring home the championship. It'd be great for Gainesville, obviously, but I had to get my call in and go Gators, Brent.
You know what's interesting about this game, too, is that Florida is favored by 1.5, but to Mark's point, it's kind of a wash in terms of betting.
Yeah.
But when you look at the matchup predictor on ESPN, it's 65.4% to Houston.
Here's
and 34.6% to Florida. That's weird in such a 50-50 game.
Florida messed around against UConn. So Gator Mike's not wrong. They got more than that. They got more. They have an incredibly deep team. They have a ton of experience. But my point is, they were down 9 with 3 minutes to play against Texas Tech. They were down 6 to UConn late in the second half.
Defending national champs 2 times over.
Yes,
yeah.
But and they came back to win. And I'm not saying it was just Walter Clayton, but he made every shot. I mean, and then they go, they go and they play Auburn, and I mean that was a tight game, but against 2 very good teams, obviously, and that never got really out of hand. But they were down to Auburn, so my point is that they've been skating on thin ice a little bit through this tournament, and without Walter Clayton against Texas Tech, don't even tell me that they're here, because they were down 9 with 3 minutes to go. So, I mean, the other part of this is, I think after seeing what Houston did to Tennessee and being kind of like a bandwagon, listen, they just suffocate you.
Yeah.
And these front courts, these guards on both sides, it is going to be an absolute war tonight. It's going to be so fun to watch. But who does that favor? They both have a star shooter.
LJ Cryer, if it comes down to like the last minute, I would go with Florida, right? With Walter Clayton Jr. I mean, he just makes big shot after big shot.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're right, Cryer is so good for Houston too.
That's what I'm saying. These guys, Houston just wears you out. They wear you out. They every single one of them smashes the boards, and they make you extend on offense. I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. There is easily a path that Florida wins this game, and it is great shooting. It is moving the ball. It is not getting down and whatever. But there's a lot of scenarios where Houston can put them in a chokehold and bleed this thing out.
Yeah, I haven't done much with basketball this year because it's been so all over the board and really tough to read. But when Todd came on the show last Wednesday, and he was like, I like Houston at +5, +5.5, money line. So I went with them, and then I went with them to win it all. So I'm going to stay with Houston. Because of what Todd said. Now, will he change his mind because of matchup? We'll talk with him at 5 o'clock. From Jim Wyatt, after the Colorado Pro Day, the Titans brass met with Shedeur Sanders' camp, and the parties agreed to cancel Wednesday's private workout. The Titans have seen 4 years of game film. This from Jim Wyatt. Scouted multiple games and attended his pro day they described as very impressive. Do you read anything into that they canceled a private workout? Like, we're good, we've seen enough?
For me, that's a nothing burger.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, that's a nothing burger. And they have something else coming up on the schedule, too, that everybody will get a workout with. I mean, what they just went to was a showcase, right? It wasn't a pro day. I think pro day is coming up, is it not? There's still a pro day, Colorado pro day.
Oh, no. They just happened. It just happened on Friday.
There was a pro day and a showcase.
Colorado had its pro day on Friday, and that's when the two sides met and agreed that they were supposed to have a private workout for him. The Titans were going to fly back out there on Wednesday, April 9th, and they canceled that.
See, to me, it's not much, but I also, like I told you earlier in the show, man, I just don't see it with these guys. I wouldn't be excited if we got either of those Colorado Buffaloes on our squad this year. And I mean, I don't know if that sends messages. I don't know what exactly, the chess move to that is, except for Brinker and Borgonzi just being like, hey, we don't need to see anymore. We've seen you 3 or 4 times this offseason already, and we've seen enough film. But I think Shedeur slips a little. I think Shedeur slips, and I think it's a one-man race with Cam Ward and nobody else.
615-737-1045. I know you like Abdul Carter. He had breakfast with an NFL head coach. We'll tell you about that next, and take your phone call. 615-737-1045.
Just say, hey, my yard is not.
It is that time. Trey Hartsook is here from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. He's your guy. They are your people. DickensSupply.com. Trey, what do people need to do to get that lawn going?
Brent, right now is such a pivotal time because if we miss our pre-emerge round and we get behind the A-ball a little bit, I'll tell you what ends up happening. Throughout the year, you start seeing more and more weed germination, which is not what we want. Our goal here is to have lush grass, no weeds. And we can accomplish that for you at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. All you have to do is come in and just say, hey, my yard is not very good now, but I would really like it to be in the future. Take a couple pictures. We would love to talk to you about it and get you in the right direction, headed for the best lawn in the neighborhood. At every single Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply location, we have turf experts that can get this stuff, pick it up, look at your pictures, talk with you about it, and get it knocked out no problem. If you look at Armville, Tennessee, got locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Mark Mariani filling in.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
For Slay, who's in San Antonio. He's never been to a Final Four until this
Wow.
year.
That's sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he went as a part of the ESPN broadcast of the three-point shootout and slam dunk contest, which was great. He did a great job. But the SEC network has been involved too, with SEC teams being involved. So I just came up the stairs. Can you hear me?
I was wondering.
Athlete, baby.
Fleet feet athlete.
Yeah, you just sent me a story. Adam Schefter reporting that the Cleveland Browns will take Travis Hunter. Available at 2.
Straight off the press on the X account, on the Twitter account, Adam Schefter says the Browns are what does he say? He says that there's all signs point that the Browns are using the number 2 overall pick for Colorado standout Travis Hunter, which is all the more reason that a trade back, if the Giants want it, then.
Or are they putting that out there to get the Titans to take that trade to 3? And they really.
There's so much chess being
They really
played.
want Abdul Carter.
I mean, listen, I got to be honest with you. You'd never want your squad to be in this position, having the number 1 draft pick.
The Cleveland Browns want to take Travis Hunter.
All signs point. But it has been in a very entertaining offseason. I mean, I have seen you every time you pick up any media outlet, whether it's TV or radio or whatever, there's different chess being played. I mean, it's this, that, even canceling the workout is part of it. What does it mean? What does it mean that the Titans did that? It's like, maybe it means they love him.
Yeah.
Maybe it means they love him so much and they don't want people to know. I don't know. But
I keep coming back to the story that Borgonzi told us when we had him on the air the day after he was hired by the Titans. I immediately wanted to get the Patrick Mahomes draft story. So I asked Borgonzi, like, how did that all go down? And he goes, man, that's a good one. And I said, bring it. I want it. And he said they tried to get to 1. Like, they tried to get all the way to 1 to take Patrick Mahomes, and they couldn't get there. They got to 10. And so he said it was fortunate that we got to 10 because that's 1 pick ahead of the Saints. And Sean Payton has since said that they would have taken Mahomes at 11. It's easy to say, obviously, now. But that's ideally what it was. But the funny part of the story is that Borgonzi said they were floating out there that they were going to take the Alabama linebacker. What was his name? Anyway, he ended up going 31 to San Francisco. But they were telling everybody they were going to take him at 10.
Wow. So
all of that does happen.
Wait, so the moral of the story was Mahomes was their guy all along?
All along.
Really? Wow.
And they tried to get to 1 and couldn't get there.
Because that was Deshaun Watson.
Trubisky ended up going to Chicago.
Yeah.
Obviously. The Bears and quarterbacks, that's something.
Oh, boy. What a journey.
You played there.
What a journey.
Who was your quarterback when you played for the Bears?
Vandy legend.
Jay
the one
Cutler.
and only. The one and only Smoking Jay.
So would he what a good dude. I saw him not too long ago. Anyway,
he's a great dude. He's
like
still,
in practice.
By the way, Jay Cutler still holds basically every Chicago Bears passing record.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is his competition?
I know, that's true. Jim McMahon?
McMahon was the great one, but he didn't throw it. But he didn't throw it all.
No,
he had
Walter
Walter
one
Payton.
good year in the fridge.
In practice, was Jay like just the zip on his body? That's all I've ever heard about with him.
I'll say this about Jay all day long. One of the most underrated, biggest freak athletes I've ever been around. I mean, not like didn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything, but everything you could think of, from conditioning drills to shooting a basketball to anything he did, he was you could tell he was the best athlete out there. I'm like, what are you doing? He would show up to these conditioning drills and just feel like he didn't even warmed up, didn't stretch, and he would whip everybody. And then same thing on the football field. When he picked up the ball, it was like, yeah, whatever. No warm up, didn't matter, and just started slinging it. And you could just tell his arm strength was just different.
Another one of those former athletes that still lives in Nashville.
Nashville,
that
baby.
comes back. But like I said, I ran into him not too long ago. He's the most chill dude ever.
Yeah, he had a good run. He has a reason to be chill, man. He's just.
But he's like, he's the kind of guy, he just puts his hand on your shoulder and he's like, look, man.
I know that posture.
It's okay, dude.
I know that.
It's okay, dude.
I know
Bud.
that.
He says, Bud. It's okay, Bud.
Oh, my gosh, dude. We got to get Jay on this show.
That'd be great. I love him. This from Schefter also. Penn State rush end Abdul Carter. Had breakfast Sunday in State College with New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll.
Man, I'll tell you.
This is starting to kind of fill itself out if all of these things are true and that the Titans go Cam Ward, the Browns go Travis Hunter, as Schefter said. Abdul Carter's having breakfast with Brian Daboll now. So those are your top three. Maybe a kind of a boring draft with the first few picks.
Yeah, but at this point, we're all just rooting for chaos, right? But the thing is
it doesn't feel like there's going to be chaos.
Here's the problem with all that scenario, right? Who are the Browns, one, and the Giants going to play? Who do they going to have to play quarterback? Who's going to play quarterback for those two teams?
Jameis.
No.
In New York.
Oh, sorry. The Giants are set. The Giants
have a room, yes.
Giants are set with Russ and with Jameis. That's true.
How about that quarterback room?
So polar opposites.
Also, my guy living with his grandmother, too. Like, is that still happening?
Dude, those two are complete polar opposites. I can't even fathom how those guys are going to work it out. So, answer me this, then.
But Cleveland, yeah, they've got that huge contract with Deshaun, right?
Just like Mina Kimes. We started the show with Mina Kimes, right? Then why would the Giants want the pick?
Oh,
why would it be the Giants?
There's still talk that they love Cam Ward and they would draft him if they could. Even with the acquisition of Russ and Jameis is Jameis, whatever.
So
but
this just leaves out Shador, like we're saying. I mean, this leaves out Shador.
Shador could fall.
They're saying 21.
Sure. He could fall for sure.
Yeah, crazy.
And, I mean, there's talk that Jackson Dart actually goes before him.
Hey, listen, that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, you got all these quarterbacks that are bunched up, right? The second. You got Jackson Dart. You got Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Tyler, how do you say his last name? Tyler, the Louisville guy. But there's this middle of the pack QB room. What? Middle of the pack QB order. One of these guys is going to be an absolute star in the NFL.
Well,
like there is a diamond in the rough somewhere here in the middle of the draft.
I think it's Cam Ward number one for sure, and then I think it's maybe Jackson Dart 2 and Shador 3. But does that mean are there 3 first-round quarterbacks, or does Shador fall into the second round?
I'm just saying, second, third, fourth round with this group. I mean, you go all the way down to Kyle McCord, who set every single college football record, finishing up at Syracuse. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge...
Dylan Gabriel at Oregon.
Oh, I forgot.
Set all the records. But
well, McCord was the ACC leader in all those categories. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of a hater on the lefties. I'm not a big Dylan Gabriel guy, but anyway.
I'm not either, sure.
You got Will Howard, who just took his team to the national championship. You got this bunch of quarterbacks who
somebody's going to make it. Somebody's going to make it out of that group.
Huge production, very, very underrated. And if you could find that guy, and Jackson Dart is just a baller. What he did at Ole Miss with our boy Kiffin was so fun to watch every Saturday. I mean, they were in the college football playoff until the last week of the season. Carter
now also scheduled to visit the Giants on Thursday in New Jersey and figures to be a top 3 pick. That's the rest of that story. When we come back, Todd Furman going to hop on Monday. It's not his normal day, but since the national championship game is tonight, he will break that down for you in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. 3HL. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani with you on 104.5 The Zone. Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can do more of what you love in the places you love to go most. With internet and mobile together, Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Get the same reliable network in the places that you need it the most, like at the coffee shop, in line at the grocery store, or at the game, all to power more of what you love. Whether you're a gamer, streaming, or working from home, whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now, through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year, and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes and fees are extra. After the promotion, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus, one unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
It is 5:01. Good evening from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams in Titans news. According to the NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Titans are hosting Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson and Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts on 30 visits today ahead of the NFL draft later this month. The men's basketball national championship is set for this evening as Houston and Florida will play for it all tonight in San Antonio. You can hear that game right here on the Zone following 3HL. The offseason has begun for the Vols men's basketball team as they had two commitments from the portal over the weekend as former Belmont and Maryland guard Jacoby Gillespie and former Vanderbilt forward Jalen Carey both committed to the Vols over the weekend. Tennessee baseball dropped down to number 5 in the D1 baseball rankings after losing their series to Texas A&M 2-1. Vols will look to get back on track with a midweek game against Alabama State tomorrow before heading to Oxford to take on Ole Miss this weekend. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Dawn Davenport is somewhere she wishes she wasn't. Actually, I guess she's back home now. Nice. She will inform you with great detail tomorrow as to what she was doing today, but we always say on assignment. Slay on assignment too. He's in San Antonio. You want to hear his too?
Might as well.
He had never been to a Final Four. He saw 2 great games. He's never been to a national championship game. Houston and Florida coming up tonight.
Dude.
Mark Mariani, Moonstar filling in.
Oh, let's go.
It is a perfect day outside.
This is a hot seat. I'm trying to fill these shoes for Dawn Davenport, man. This is a tough assignment, but I'm doing my best. I had an extra shot of espresso on the way in, just so I could try to keep up.
What's on the tap tonight? Let's say,
I'm straight up
basketball game coming up tonight.
I'm old and decrepit these days, man. I told you, I'm trying.
No brown water tonight.
I'm trying to make. I might have a little just because it's game night.
It's game night.
But I'm trying to stay up for one shining moment, man. I look forward to it. It's unbelievable.
So, do you go brown water or do you go red beer on this?
Oh, it's brown water.
Yeah.
Take straight business. Straight to business.
Do you get the big ice cube or just neat?
You know, mine makes small ones. Not a big fan of them, so mostly neat. That was a
You
big.
can get these big ice cube molds, that you can put in the freezer.
Yeah, I do have those too.
Okay.
But my ice maker, I was one of my only things I really wanted was the big ice cubes, and didn't execute that. Did not execute that. But that's all right. The brown water still, does its job.
Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani with you. Todd Furman checking in on an off day out there in Las Vegas. Todd, what's up? How are you?
I'm getting overtime pay for this. When you text me bright and early on a Monday morning trying to get my take on the national championship and such, we'll see what we can do. But no complaints out in this neck of the woods. Hopefully you guys are excited about tip-off about 2.5 hours or so from now.
Crap, you just reminded me that you're 2 hours behind me. What time did I text you?
Hey, look, time zones are tough to figure out. So, Mark, hopefully Brent at least understands that you guys live in the same time zone, so you're in good shape.
Wow.
I think the text came across at 6:04 local, probably more embarrassing that I text you back within 15 minutes because I'm already up for the day.
Well, he's only just all antsy and excited because you've won him some money so far. He's got some money on the line tonight.
For those, now. Todd, sit tight. For those that don't remember what Todd said about Houston and Duke, this is what he said last Wednesday.
So this is a game where I have much stronger opinions, and I have already bet the Houston Cougars, took some 5.5, took some 5, and I actually think they win this game outright against Duke.
How about that, Todd?
Hey, not bad when even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Now, full disclosure here for you guys and the listeners, I didn't envision Houston going down by 14 points with a little bit more than 8 minutes to go, or holding Duke to one field goal over about the final 10.5 minutes. But it really is a credit And it's part of the handicap and the reason that I thought Houston was going to find themselves in a good spot. The physicality, the veteran leadership, and the culture. Credit the Cougars, who didn't necessarily play the best game and didn't have much in the way of answers defensively for the first 30 minutes, but they never blinked, and you saw Duke start to wilt under the bright lights because they just hadn't played in all that many close games, knowing how lopsided the ACC was when it was Duke and everybody else this season.
So it's interesting with Cooper Flagg, with the foul late, the missed shot at the end, and then you look at Janai Broome with what was it, no points in the last 15 minutes? That's crazy
wild
to think about.
Pretty wild when you look at the sequence of events that had to take place. And credit Florida for what they needed to do to get to this point in the season. I mean, they erased that halftime deficit against Auburn before we even got to the media timeout.
Yeah.
And once Florida gets their offense going, they can be an extremely difficult out. But it was their defense that I don't think got enough credit, and whether that was because Auburn just didn't have the depth to be able to match them or some of the adjustments Todd Golden made. Now it's a question of, in 36-hour turnaround, who comes down off of that emotional high and can strap on their shoes and get ready to go at it again. I think Houston's got to feel like they're playing with a bit of house money in this spot, no pressure on them. And Florida's a team that clearly has shown that they don't get phased, when they're facing a late deficit, because while they weren't an astronomical underdog price, the same as Houston, when they trailed Texas Tech, still a pretty improbable pass that the Gators have taken to get to the national championship game tonight.
It's amazing to look at what Auburn was trying to do with Walter Clayton, and they were trying to have him give up the ball, running two players at him, and he was still finding ways to get shots up. That's the guy that makes me nervous with a ticket on Houston is that thing comes down to a minute to go. Walter Clayton Jr. has made those shots repeatedly.
He has been outstanding, and there is no doubt that he has been the cheat code for Florida so far this tournament. You look at some of the numbers that he's put up, it's rivaling the kind of magic we saw from Kemba Walker, and he's actually done it a little bit deeper in the tournament. I think the stat they shared for a player to score what Clayton has put forth 30-plus in the Elite Eight and Final Four, something that hadn't been accomplished since Larry Bird did it for Indiana State. So there is no doubt that Houston, on a quick turnaround, will try and throw some different looks at Walter Clayton Jr. and force anybody else on this Gators roster to beat them. And for people who are trying to see how this game may play out, at least in the eyes of odds makers, look, there's a reason that Clayton's over-under is only 19.5 points today, and it's actually seen a slight nibble from professional bettors trying to go under.
So what do you think? Florida by 1.5 over Houston tonight. Do you have a strong opinion about this one?
I don't actually. I think the number is extremely fair. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Houston money come into the market a little bit later. Spoke to a couple of books, and they felt pretty comfortable and confident that when they hung this game right around Pick'em or Florida -1, that there wasn't going to be much in the way of movement. I'm intrigued by the total. If it continues to tick down from where it opened at 142, now we're looking at 140.5, I might actually want to go over. Tennessee fans know all too well what this Florida team is all about, and I think that's probably the best comp for what we can expect today between Houston and Florida. I think Houston a little bit more dynamic offensively than the Vols were throughout the course of the regular season, and that's why I'm so intrigued to see what Houston can do to throw different defensive looks there, and what Florida is going to try and do to contend with, grown men, much like they saw against Auburn in the Final Four game, like they'll see here if L.J. Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, and Juwan Roberts can get going on the interior.
Todd, if you like the over, does that not favor Florida Gators' style of play with the under coming into doing, taking care of business of what Houston's game plan is, or do you not even look at that?
No, it does on the surface, and I think that was what a lot of people looked at for Houston against Duke in the Final Four game, Mark. If Duke got to 70, would Houston be able to win the game? Well, Houston held them to 67. The game falls roughly right on the total at 137, depending on where you were able to lock that up. But you look at what Houston has been able to do this season against teams that want to get up and down the court. BYU and Arizona, probably the best litmus test, the teams that they beat in the conference tournament semifinals and championship game, and they held those offenses largely in check. But we also can hit the rewind button to what we saw in the round of 32, where Houston showed an ability to score bucket for bucket and force Gonzaga to play from behind, winning that game 81-76. I think this Houston team doesn't get enough credit offensively for how dynamic they can be on that side of the ball compared to what we've seen in the past. And I don't think they'd be fazed if this game fell somewhere in the ballpark of 76-72. So, again, not a bullish sentiment in terms of going over the total. I'll lean there the same way. If I had to pick a side, I would lean towards Houston plus 1.5, but don't really have a position on side or total in this game myself.
In a game like this where it's supposed to be neutral site, so close to Houston down there in San Antonio. Is there any, does that move anything? Does that give anybody an advantage? Does Houston have the home crowd?
I do think you have to make a slight adjustment here, given the fact that the Houston fans that weren't going to pay top dollar on Saturday to make the trek, now they're not competing with nearly as many folks, and you make the journey to try and see if your program can win the first national championship. So I made a half-point adjustment for Houston. Sometimes in these cavernous football stadiums, it's a little bit of a different dynamic, but there's no doubt that Houston will be strongly represented there, and you have to imagine it'll be a 65-35 or maybe even a 70-30 split that'll favor Kelvin Sampson's Cougars today.
It's funny that it's 104.5. That's a good line.
Well, you have to move the decimal point a little bit. I'd be more than happy to go over 104.5 if that was the over/under. 140.5 doesn't give me the same upside.
Oh, 140.5. Yeah, I missed that one.
One thing I will say on the game.
He's better at talking than he is numbers.
Idiot.
Math is hard, and we've quickly found that out, not just for Brent and Slay. Don has to be the one to rein them all in, as we've seen with some of these 6 to 18 parlays that they'll put on the books. But I will say from a player prop standpoint, I think the player to watch for Houston today that has a somewhat favorable matchup will actually be Juwan Roberts. I mean, this is a guy that is a consummate veteran. He's played in games like this, and while Milos Uzan missed extended time last game dealing with foul trouble, we started to see Roberts assert himself a little bit at the offensive end. Had a modest stat line with just 11 points. He's only scored in double figures twice this tournament, but I'd be looking at him to go over 10.5. I think Florida, even with the extra length and the bodies they have, he may be a little bit of a matchup problem because if Florida wants to throw multiple bodies at him under the basket, I think Sharp and Cryer can beat you from the outside.
I'm looking for that 104.5 line.
Yeah, you ain't going to find that. Well, I got to say, Todd.
You may have to lay a substantial price to go over 104.5 on the adjusted number.
You may not see value there. Well, you got him all fired up because he took the Houston to win after you said it was the whole thing after it was
you mentioned plus 450 before Duke. And so I was like, Todd said it, I'm in.
I don't do math. Todd said it. I'm in.
You got a little bit of skin in the game now, and look, I wouldn't hedge that position. I think you kind of let it ride at this point. I really feel like the game tonight is a true coin flip, and it's just a question of how the game will be officiated as much as anything else. But these two teams have no doubt proved their mettle, and I think the great thing about both of them is they've shown a tremendous amount of resilience to even get to this point in the season. Houston erasing that deficit and Florida kind of gutting out wins against UConn and Texas Tech to get here. But it is wild, how people look at Houston's resume and what we had talked about going into the Final Four game. They've lost one game since November 30th. And that came as a 1-point defeat in overtime against Texas Tech. So maybe if Houston were to lose another game, you can have the 1.5, but it won't help you cash that future at plus 450, Brett.
So if I can make more than double my money, I don't cash it out, just let it ride.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would let it go. And if you feel like there's going to be an opportunity, live betting will be able to give you a vehicle to try and get off that position a little bit. Or who knows, maybe Houston has a 7 to 10 point lead going into the break, and you'll have a chance to work some arbitrage in the middle, given how slow we've seen Florida get out of the gates in a few tournament games already.
Let it ride, bro.
Numbers and words like arbitrage.
Hey, we have you on your off day, Todd, and you're getting overtime pay. So can I milk your time here and transition?
I mean, look, may as well. We're going to block Brent's number until Wednesday, Mark, but I'm more than happy to try and answer the questions you want to throw my direction.
I do, because if you're ready, because I want to know where I can find value. Is there a golf tournament this week? Where can I find value out on the old Augusta track later in this week?
This is where it gets to be a little bit more challenging because I have to come back on Wednesday, so we need the listeners to want a little bit more. So we have to hold our cards a little tighter to the vest there, but we'll have a Masters pick or two. Two guys, though, that I have bet, at least early on, as far as long shot prices, not necessarily sure they can win the tournament. Played some Joaquin Niemann at a price right around 40 to 1. And took the ultimate flyer on Dustin Johnson at 100 to 1, but should be able to narrow down the card a little bit with a better idea of who I think will actually be in contention when we have this discussion Wednesday afternoon.
DJ always comes through on Masters weekend. Always does, even though his pockets are really heavy now.
It's one of those guys, boom or bust, that if things go well, DJ can kind of play downhill. But it wouldn't shock me at all if he blew up. And the first score I checked Thursday afternoon, we're looking at DJ 6 over par. trying to figure out what Waffle House he can get to fast enough when he misses the cut.
Yeah, because he misses the cut, and then he just doesn't care. He's like, oh, good, man. Just didn't have it today, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. See you guys next year.
Exactly. So you kind of got to build a little bit with a couple of bombers. But the one thing I will say, when you try and go through the Masters, smallest field of any of the majors there, and as far as trying to find that real long shot value, I mean, the average odds of the Masters winner have hovered right around that 30 to 35 to 1 range. The only two real long shots we've seen recently are Charles Schwartzel and Danny Willett. So you don't have to go way down the board for this the same way you would to kind of find a Brian Harmon last week at the Valero Open who got there at 90 to 1.
So I got to say it, since Slay's not here. I mean, the Todd father, we threw a Masters question. You act like you weren't ready for it, and then you just threw some absolute dimes at me with those stats. I mean, just throwing absolute perfect one-line stats at me. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Wednesday afternoon.
We've done a little bit of prep, but it takes a little while to kind of round out the golfing card for the weekend. This is, of course, one of the iconic fixtures on the schedule. So you always want to try and go in and make sure that you have the right players going for you. But the one thing I will tell you, Mark, when I handicap the Masters, given how short the prices are, most likely I'm going to find myself going into the first round having to dodge Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Those will be two guys at prices at 4.5, 5 to 1, and 6.5, 7. Even with Rory's current form as good as it is, you just can't really make a lot of money betting players at prices that short. And if Rory goes out there and completes the career Grand Slam to prove me wrong, I'll kind of tip my hat. So it'll be a question of figuring out if I want some exposure to him. Do you bet him in a top 5, a top 10 market? But neither of those guys, I can tell you, when we talk about the tournament on Wednesday, will be two players that I'll be looking to highlight.
Todd Furman, Wednesday at what time do you come on? 5:20?
Time zones are hard, Brent. We've only been doing this for 10-plus years, buddy. Only 10-plus years, my friend. Not like the segment started 2 weeks ago.
And he woke you up this morning.
Oh, sorry, 2:20. I mean, since you guys have bumped me up, 2:20 Pacific time, 4:20 Central time.
4:20, yes. Todd literally is the longest-running guest on 3HL. And I just totally flubbed that. You got me thinking of the 104.5. I'm waiting for that total so I can go over.
Yeah, if that total drops, you're talking Princeton Rutgers back in the day for college basketball to find a total that low. Nobody's playing ball with a 30-second shot clock where you're getting a total that low in 2025.
Or Charles Barkley and Samuel L. Jackson with a peach bucket.
Yeah, true. It's a very good point. I'm not sure how many takes it took to get that commercial knocked out for Capital One.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure.
No 6 a.m. wake-up calls anymore, I promise. There you go.
Oh, my God.
Todd.
So wait, all that, who's he betting on? He didn't really.
He gave two long shots on the Masters.
No. I mean,
he said he didn't like a side or total. He had a lean toward over 140.5 and a lean toward Houston, but didn't love either one of them.
Yeah, that's right.
See, he bets differently than fans. Fans are like, it's a national championship game. I'm betting it.
I would love to have that.
Meanwhile,
demeanor.
the professional handicapper's like, I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah, I ain't doing it because I got a welt on, I got an itch, and I got to scratch it.
Chris Lowe coming up next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. If you are often feeling tired, lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out. At Low T Center, they make it easy for you to get your levels checked. It's just a simple test, and with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back right there. Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office. Their physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy or TRT for each patient. The experts at Low T Center have more than a decade of experience helping patients, and super important, their personal treatment plans are optimized for each patient. These aren't just basic standard treatments. For current patients, Low T Center offering you $150 referral credit for each new patient that you refer. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So get back to being your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
What's happening, y'all? This is an important message from my good friends over at Bart Durham Injury Law. So you're getting these accidents and, you're sitting at home and you're getting bills. They're starting to pile up. You're thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How do I attack this? Well, I got something for you. Bart Durham Injury Law, that's where Blair and the family step in. His team will go out and fight for you. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. Why would they stop now? You just need to know this number, 615-242-9000. So while all of this is happening, and if someone calls you while you're sitting there, while these bills are stacking up, they call you after wreck, they're breaking the law. I bet you didn't know that. That's right. They are lawyers. There are lawyers out there breaking the law. Blair and the team at Bart Durham Injury Law, they don't play those type of games. When you make the call, they answer. They're local, trusted, and ready to fight. No gimmicks, just a team that's on your side from the start. So if you or someone you love is ever in a wreck, remember Blair's number, 615-242-9000. That's 615-242-9000. Local, trusted, ready to fight for you.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Mark Mariani in studio today.
We're grinding. We're about to land this plane. Let's go.
Slay and Babs will be back tomorrow. What a nice freaking day outside after all this severe weather.
I know.
Did you guys get hit over there at your place?
Yeah, we spent a little time over there huddled up in the old, whatever, tornado room. It's basically just a half
safe
bathroom.
room with like a thumbprint.
Bro, I'm from Montana.
Security.
Dude. I'm just like, oh, this will work. Not great. Not great. But that's all right. Most interior room, we Gucci.
615
Barely enough room, but my little 15-pound dog fits.
kind of dog do you have?
She's a little mutt. She's a little rescue. I don't really know, but
Okay.
you guys, I'm going down.
It's kind of a private question between you and your dog, I guess. I don't know. Like, what kind of dog are
I
you?
would say cockapoo, but she's like 11 now. She's chilling. She got a good life.
Chris Lowe joins us now.
Oh.
Chris, can we say what you're up to today?
Can you say what now, Brent?
Can we say what you're up to today?
I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
What's
I'm in the presence of Alabama royalty, actually. Ellis Ponder.
Oh, okay. So what's the feeling down there in Tuscaloosa coming off year one?
You know, I think one of the big things in talking to Coach DeBoer today is having Ryan Grubb back with him. I know he's really comfortable, being back with him. He's his, right-hand guy. They've been together. Well, they first coached together in 2007 at Sioux Falls. And remember, Grubb was the OC when they went to the title game. Washington went to the title game in 2003, helped develop Michael Penix. And I think having him back, not only from an offensive standpoint, but, one of the criticisms, fair or unfair, is that DeBoer was not enough of a hard ass, for the lack of a better word. And I think Grubb will help him in that endeavor. And even DeBoer told me today that he does feel like in year two they will need to have a harder edge than maybe they did last year. And in his defense, when he got here, it was pretty chaotic. Saban had just retired, the greatest coach ever. The portal's open, guys are leaving, so you're almost like just sort of trying to tread water there and keep guys from leaving. And you had the other portal in April that was open, so you didn't want to lose a bunch of guys in. And I think it was harder for him to really fully get all of his fingerprints around the program the way he wants to. And then you have that with, he's so diametrically opposite from Saban as a personality and their disposition. So I think he feels better in talking to him today about his handle on the program, the people in the program, the staff, having Grubb, a guy like Grubb, back with him. They feel a lot better. Still haven't decided on the quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is that Tyler Simpson?
No, I mean, he's in it, but I talked to Grubb and DeBoer both at length about that, and they still want to go through the rest of the summer on into the fall before they decide. I think they like the way Mac has played, who came with, he was with Grubb and he was with DeBoer out in Washington. So we'll see. This is Ty's fourth year on campus, so you'd think he would have a leg up, but he hasn't won it yet. They were pretty clear that no one has separated themselves to the point right now where they can name a starter.
Chris Lowe with us on 3HL. Yeah, Tyler Simpson during the recruiting process came on with us a couple of different times. Great dude, man. Wish him the best, that's for sure. What do you think about tonight's national championship game, man? We've seen everything that we've known all year about Walter Clayton Jr. Everybody else is kind of figuring out that he makes all of the important shots. So Florida and Houston tonight, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we were talking when Slay was on a few weeks ago. We were talking about Clayton. And I told you guys then that he was, without a question, the best guard in America. And this is a great example of why I wish we could wait until after all the games are played to name individual awards, whether it's the Heisman Trophy in football, player Wooden award winner in basketball. Because as good as Cooper Flagg is, and he'll be the number one pick, as good as John Broome was. If you ask me right now, and of course we got one game to play, who's the best player right now in college basketball? To me, it's Walter Clayton. When you look at all the shots he's made, the way he stepped up on big stages, I mean, he just got that look about it, Brent, man. If he's got the ball late and they need a basket, he's going to get it. I love the way Houston fights and scraps. There's a bunch of grown men that are Kelvin Sampson, but I told you guys 3 weeks ago, coming out of Nashville, I haven't seen a team that's got more answers and more options and more pieces than Florida. I mean, they run 7-footers at you left and right. Clayton's, as I said, the best player in America right now, and they're deep. I mean, they go 9, 10 deep.
Yeah, when they can win it.
Yeah, you know what the other difference is? I thought this in Nashville, the SEC tournament. they have taken their defense to another level too, Brent, which has, I think, been the big difference maker for them.
Yep, Todd Furman literally just said that, our sports betting guy in Vegas, talking about their defense. But, yeah, I mean, you think about it, Alex Conley gets 1 point in a Final Four game, and Florida still wins. I mean, that's interesting. What about Janai Broome? No points in the last 15 minutes of that Final Four game. How bothered by that hyperextended elbow was he, do you think?
Well, I don't think he was 100%. That was obvious. And I think you're talking to people around that program, I think they knew going into the game he was not going to be. But he did play well. It's not like he had a great start. Your best players, if you're going to win championships and you're going to get a chance to play, man, your best players have to play the best when it matters. He did not. Walter Clayton did. And I do think, yes, as you said, I think the injury had something to do with it. But Florida is as deep as I've seen. I mean, Connecticut was, 1 through 6 or 7 the last couple of years were really, really good. But when you look at all the different the guard play Florida has, the big men, their length, the way they can most all of them can step out and hit the three. They're right up there as good as I've seen in a while. So I think they win. Now, Houston will make it a rock fight. They'll do everything they can to make it a rock fight. And but Florida, to me, is just too good, Brent.
Tennessee basketball. Chris Lowe with us, ESPN.com. Tennessee basketball picked up, Jacoby Gillespie, the point guard Stein today, 6'1", 186. Chris, I talked with Casey Alexander about him. He had him for a couple of years. He said he's a different player than Sakai. So if Tennessee fans are thinking they're getting Sakai Ziegler, he said he's a different player than Sakai. He said he's probably closer to 5'11", 6 feet, as opposed to Sakai, who was listed at 5'9", but wasn't. But he said he's more of an open floor point guard, so he's anxious to see what kind of transition happens with him in Rick Barnes' system. But he said, man, he's athletic, he's quick, plays both ends of the floor, very instinctive player. Also had football offers coming out of high school from Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, among others. So he's anxious to see how that plays out for Jacoby Gillespie. And then interesting that Tennessee gets a transfer from Vanderbilt, Jalen Carey from Vandy, 6'8", 245, and he said, I'm evolved now, man. Don't care about no black and gold. I bleed orange now, man. I don't care about what they've got to say.
Yep. Welcome to the world of the transfer portal,
right?
my
gosh. Life comes at you fast.
Change overnight. That's just where we are. But not the Gillespie kid, I think, he's got a really strong core. He was a football player. He should be able to, when he penetrates, Zakai was able to finish some, but he was so small, it was harder for him to finish and make some of those tough twos in the lane. I think Gillespie has a better chance to do that. But
yeah, I'm glad you said that. Casey also pointed out that he's very good with the basketball in his hands,
yes,
and he will be able to get into the lane and get some things done. Yeah,
because Zakai, when he's in the lane, is usually looking to kick or set up somebody else. I think Gillespie will have a chance to score more when he gets in there.
Vanderbilt picked up a couple of 6'10" guys. So, it's tough to keep up with all this. But the college football transfer portal is about to hit April 16th through the 25th, I think. And college football coaches hate that one, right? The second portal?
Well, yeah, and think about so the House settlement is supposedly going to be finalized here in the next today. I think the judge started hearing. But if that thing stretches into when the portal starts, you talk about just utter chaos.
Yes, right. Well, and there's dead period in basketball, too, while all that's going on.
Right. So if it stretches to that point and you got all these guys that are entering the portal there's no settlement in place, well, they can pay them what they want to pay them. And it's what we've seen in basketball the last 2 weeks. The Gillespie kid for Tennessee, he gets $175 million and turned down over $3 million from places like Villanova and schools that don't have football NIL to worry about.
Wow,
per se.
Lanier did the same thing last year.
Yeah, Lanier turned down 1.5 from Kentucky.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of numbers out there. You see some of these players that are transferring and getting big numbers. 175 is a big number, but it's not the biggest. There's some 2 and 3 millions out there, and a place like Duke, they can pay. Was it Pete? Somebody reported today that Duke had a treasure chest of $5 million that they were getting ready to spend on this next year's roster in basketball. $5 million.
That's the pressure these coaches are under too. Like if you think about, let's think about Tennessee for example. So Rick Barnes has to go get a veteran point guard, which he did. They need a bully inside, which they got with Carey. He's the kind of guy that you love him if he's on your team. You do not like him at all if he's not on your team. He had 17 points and 8 boards in Knoxville against Tennessee this year. But he needs a couple of shooters. He needs a stretch four. If you fall like one player short, it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
No, and you look at the teams in the SEC.
Like if Lanier would have gone to Kentucky, then what? You know what I mean?
But look at the teams who did well this year in the SEC. Alabama, you got a Sears who started at a lower division. You got a Lanier at Tennessee started at a lower division. You got Clayton at Florida, John I. Broome. All those guys, and coaches are letting those guys, instead of signing a 3 or 4 star guy out of high school, let him go play somewhere else, get some experience, get some seasoning, and then bring him in. And you look at what Bruce did at Auburn, they don't have a lot of guys that were 5-star prospects coming out of high school, but what they did get is they got guys out of the transfer portal who fit and got better. So to me, that's the ability to evaluate, Brent, and see these guys and know who's in the portal and who fits what you do. That's going to be more important than ever, because in hoops, you get a big guy, and you get a shooter, that makes a huge difference in your team.
Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. Chris, thank you. Tell everybody in T-Town that we said hello.
All right, RTR.
Yes, see you, man. Right. RTR, Roll Tide Roll. Chris Lowe visiting with the Alabama group, so that story will be on ESPN.com at some point. Yeah, what about my guy Jalen Carey going from Vandy to Tennessee, man, and then saying what he said?
I love that.
I'm a Vol now, man. Don't care about no black and gold. I bleed orange now, man. I don't care about what they've got to say. I mean, geez.
Oh, my gosh. So quick. Out the door.
He also said Rick Barnes and what he's done and what he's proven to do, Carey said, it's just the right fit for me. And I just want to have that winning culture, and I want to be a winner. I want to get to the Final Four with Coach Barnes. I want to scratch that surface that he hasn't got to, and I want to be a part of the team who does it. And I feel like the team that we're putting together right now, sky's the limit. And then I'm just so excited to get down there to Tennessee and just put on for the fans in Knoxville. It's going to be great.
I'm too old school, man. I just cannot believe it's crazy.
It happened with Auburn and Alabama this year too.
It's unbelievable, and it's good for him. I mean, it's good for the players. It's good for them being able to have some flexibility and making all this money and not being locked in like we.
But you got to go wrestling heel to throw that comment out there. Like, I mean, that's totally coming back to twice next year.
Gosh, dude, unbelievable.
Not that he's scared about that at all. Like, that dude's ready to go. He's ready. But I thought that was funny. Rick Barnes about point guard Jacoby Gillespie, who officially signed today. We expect him to help lead our team from day one, and we feel quite fortunate to have him as a part of our program. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt gets 2 big transfers. Literally, Mark Byington picked up 2 6'10" transfers over the weekend. They were high school teammates in Gary, Indiana. Jalen Washington played the last 3 seasons at North Carolina, averaged 6 points and 4 boards in 36 games this year. And then Mason Nicholson at Jacksonville State averaged 7.5 points and 6 rebounds per game last season. Jalen Carey, as we mentioned, left for Tennessee. And then Jason Edwards, loved that dude's game, headed to Providence. So some of the notes there. 615-737-1045, the number at 3HL1045. Congrats to Alex Ovechkin. That was so cool. The only goal they scored as a team in that game, but it was a big one. Breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal scored record. He scored goal number 895 yesterday, not all in one game. That would also be a monstrous record. He did it in 20 seasons with the Caps. Gretzky did it with 21. 14 40-goal seasons, 9 50-goal seasons.
It's really unreal.
For Ovi, and Gretzky had that run. So Gretzky's run started in 81-82. He had 92 goals that year. 92.
Wow.
Then he had 71. Then he had 87. Then he had 73. Then he had 52. Then he had 62. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible, and it was so fun to watch. I mean, I took a picture of me and Maverick.
Were you watching?
Oh yeah. And what did you? I don't
You're
know if
a
you
big
saw
hockey
it.
guy.
Well, I just knew it was happening. I set an alarm for it. But what was cool? What's also cool is Ovi, Alex Ovechkin, all one team. He gets drafted.
All one team.
And he won a Stanley Cup there.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, can you believe that?
Trotty,
He did it all. And it's crazy. I mean, and then what was cool, I don't know if you watched it, but when he broke it, they were on him live. They were just on him, and it was during the power play. The puck got moved up ice. It didn't come to him the first time, and then it got cleared back down past the blue line again, and they reset. And then it was kind of like a lull in play. And then literally all of a sudden, I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
And the camera was right on him the whole time. He was pissed when he didn't get it the first time.
Yep.
And then it goes back to him. And how about an absolute F-bomb? Snipe.
I mean, missile.
A snipe for his $8.95. I mean, an absolute
I had to go back and watch
snipe.
it because you couldn't really see the puck. He shot it so hard.
I watched 10 angles of it. Somebody put out every angle they had of it.
Yeah.
You still couldn't see the puck.
It's
It was
crazy.
phenomenal. I mean, it was,
Love it.
and I pulled my little man in there, and I'm like, you know, it's the same thing I did when Tiger won the Masters.
Yeah.
His little bald head, he won't even remember. But I'm like, dude, you are never gonna forget this moment, bro. Or maybe it's just for me. Oh God.
In the last decade, 17 quarterbacks were taken in the top 3. A to Z Sports put out how many of their head coaches were fired during or right after that rookie season. Got that number for you when we come back. Plus, is there a blood in the water pick? An upset outright winner.
Oh, you know what time it is, baby. We're going hunting.
Mayor and Moonshine.
We're going
We'll be right
hunting in
back.
San Antonio.
3 HL.
What's happening, good people? KellumStemCellInstitute.com. Head over there, get that inflammation about your body. You probably like aches and pains. Yeah, I was just going to take a leave or Advil or something to get inflammation out of your body, but you're going to be doing it over and over and over and over and over again. That stuff, man, eats at you internally, and you already have the cure inside of you. All you got to do is harvest it. That's right. Your body, your cells, your solution. Harvest your body's stem cells and store them for future and continued use. Now, these cells are your body's healing cells, harvested and redeployed based on your needs. Stem cells attack inflammation in the body, and we know that all autoimmune disorders are derived from inflammation, whether it's congestive heart failure, lung issues, arthritis, autism, either one, it doesn't matter. 615-850-4415. That's the number you need to hit up. 615-850-4415. Talk to Dr. Kellum directly. Sit down with him. Only can do that at KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Mark Mariani with you. Slay Dog in San Antonio. He'll be back tomorrow. Dawn Davenport will be back tomorrow. She had an appointment, let's say.
You're going to have to tune in tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I said it in the first segment, so if you were listening then. And then I started thinking, did she really say that on the air? She typically tells everything that she does. And she encourages people to get what she had done today to get done. But anyway, they'll be back tomorrow.
That's a little teaser for tomorrow.
They're on assignment. So Moonshine filled in admirably. It's been a fun show.
I mean, dude, is it almost 6? Is my clock right?
Yeah. 3HL powered by Ferguson Home. Discover the Mount Juliet showroom at 401 South Mount Juliet Road, Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. Thank you to Jackson for filling in for Zeph. You'll be here all week, right?
Yep.
Zeph did let us know that he got to his destination, honeymoon destination, and he told us that they have $5 and $10 blackjack tables. So he was going to go have some fun, and we haven't heard back from him since that
someone
text.
we need an update. We need a check.
Yeah. He's already out of money.
We're worried about you, bud.
He's already out of money. Have you heard Jackson? You guys. So for people that don't know, Jackson and Zeph are tied at the hip. These guys.
Oh, sick.
They love each other.
So were you at the wedding?
Yes, I was at the wedding.
Nice.
I have heard from him during the show. I haven't heard from him in about an hour.
Okay, good. So he's still walking around with cash in his pocket, hopefully?
I'm assuming.
Hey, you're not allowed to use your phone at the table, so he's
That's right.
probably on a heater right now.
You got to step away.
Come on, baby.
You got to step away. From A to Z Sports, in the last decade, 17 quarterbacks were taken in the top 3 picks in the NFL draft. 10 of their head coaches were fired during or just after their rookie season. 10 of the 17. That's 58.8%. Of head coaches were fired during the rookie year or right after. 3 of the GMs were fired during the rookie season or right after. The GM's not getting fired on this one. This is year 1. So
the coach, we never answer that question. How many wins does it take? But I mean, that stat is just is pathetic. I mean, it sucks because you got all these talented dudes picked number 1 overall, and for some young guys, that can take the train right off the tracks. I mean, that could derail you. And 10 out of 17 lose their coach in the first year.
One more thing that I've actually almost got through all of the show prep that we discussed before the show today. Here's one more thing, and then we'll get your blood in the water pick. Chad Reuter, or maybe not. Maybe you won't make a pick. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Don't leave.
Florida by 1.5. That's the game tonight. Chad Reuter with NFL.com has a 5-round mock draft out. You ready for this?
Yes.
5 rounds.
I am.
I'm here for all of these things. I know a lot of people are like, screw mock drafts. I hate mock drafts. I don't. I like them. I like all of them.
Same.
Even when the top 3 picks are going to be the top 3 picks from here on out now, apparently, because Schefter said Cleveland's going Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter had breakfast with Brian Daboll. That's kind of a romantic thing, I guess. He's got number 1, Cam Ward, quarterback Miami, going to the Titans. In round 2, he has the Titans trading out of 35 with Seattle. And then at 50, picking JT Tumaloam, edge rusher, Ohio State.
Okay.
So quarterback 1, edge rusher 2. 3rd round. So they would pick up a 3rd round pick, which they don't have in this trade. 3rd round, Dante Thornton, wide receiver, Tennessee.
Baller.
Speed. Number 4, Jacob Parrish, cornerback, Kansas State. Every team drafts at least one cornerback every year. Going to happen, just like wide receivers. Number 4, 2nd, 4th round pick. This is interesting. Cam Scatterbo, running back.
Wow.
Arizona State.
Weird.
There was a story out there that the Titans wanted to get a bigger back to go along with the 2 guys they have that are very similar to each other.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
That's fine. Is Cam Scatterbo a big NFL running back? He's 5'10", 220.
But he's physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is. But I wonder if that game translates. That's not the first thing I thought about
either.
when you. I know that's what his game was at Arizona State.
So
interesting.
That was the question I was going to ask you. Does that translate?
No, not at running back. Absolutely not. No way. Not 5'10", 220. I'm sorry.
That's why a lot of fans love him. But here we go with a mock draft with him in the 4th round, which may be too high for him, honestly.
5'10", 220.
And he
It's too
put
small.
up a slow 40 time. I forget what it was, but I remember.
The ultimate big running back combo is Brandon Jacobs and Tiki Barber. Those are my favorite.
that was good.
Brandon Jacobs will run you over.
Yeah. Number 5, Kane Medrano, linebacker, UCLA.
We need some linebacker help big time. Absolutely big time.
All right.
Here it is, baby.
Oh, he ran a 4.5. Okay, that's faster than I
Cam
thought it was.
Scatabo?
That's what Smiley just said.
You
in
want
there.
guys like that in your locker room. He was a winner. He wants to win. He's a weight room guy.
You know what I want? I want to win. You know how we get that done? It's time.
Let's drew the long. Oh,
It's time.
let's go, baby. We going hunting. You know what time it is.
Are you going to do it?
Let's go. Well, we don't even have one. All right, here it is.
Well,
Hey, listen.
Florida's favored by 1.5. It's technically an upset if Houston wins.
So here's what we got.
Even though the money line
we
price
got
is
the
like 7.
swamps. We got the chomp. Well, you know who don't give a damn about that swamp? Kelvin Sampson, baby, the pride of Montana Tech. The pride of Montana Tech. Check that on his resume, baby.
Montana
Houston
Tech.
Cougars, 1.5 points. Well, guess what? We don't want them, baby. Houston Cougars, cut those nets down, baby. One shining moment. Let's go. Brent Doherty, you cashed that money line check. You cashed that plus 450.
I hear you.
Houston Cougars taking it down. And the under. And Walter Clayton Jr., under 20. All of it.
You like the under.
All
Even
of
with
it,
it ticking
dude.
down.
All
All right,
of
there
it.
he is. He's Mark Mariani with his blood in the water pick. What's coming up next, Jackson?
Coverage from the national championship.
Right here on 104.5 The Zone, Houston and Florida. Davenport and Slay Dog back at it tomorrow. We'll have the three of us. Moonshine, you did a great job today.
Hey, man. Great Monday. Let's get this week started off right. Big night tonight.
Love that you guys include us in your day. We appreciate that. We do not take that for granted, nor do we take it lightly. Have a great night. Good night. God bless.
Peace.
See you. Houston.
All right, y'all, listen up. I'm telling you right now, PAI
Whether you're a
Medical is where
homeowner
you
creating
wanna
your
go,
dream
Grab
space
dot
or a
com.
pro managing
Over
multiple
today, got
projects,
my little 45
discover a
minute
new way to
treatment
shop
laser.
at Ferguson Home, where great ideas become stunning spaces. Ferguson Home is designed for the way you want to shop. Explore the best selection of bath, kitchen, and lighting products online, or experience items firsthand in one of our showrooms. Our experts offer personalized support every step of the way. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. Shop top brands like Visual Comfort, or find your local showroom at fergusonhome.com.
Man, that little sunroof. Nope, I don't want the sunroof. I want a hard top. Let me close it up. I put some hair bell. I'm cool. It's mine.